From UT apartment locator to now running a team with 11 agents, over 10,000 Instagram followers, and flipping houses as well. Welcome to the show, Eduardo Duran, like the band Duran Duran.
Exactly.
Are you a fan?
Not really. No, I think it was before my time.
Yeah.
To be frank with you.
Voices of the 80s. I have seen them 3 times.
Wow. How many bands have you seen? You always talk about that. I remember you gave me the stat. It's a ridiculous number.
It's over 900. Yeah.
How do you keep track of that?
Once at 800 3 years ago. I stopped counting, and I go to about 100 a year. Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, I had this Google spreadsheet going for the longest time. I should go back and actually do it again, but whatever.
Yeah, when I met Chase, I was like, I go to lots of shows, and we started, exchanging war stories, and I'm not even close. And I thought, there's no way that Chase has seen more than I'm like twice his age. And
yeah. Do you track that on an Excel sheet or a notes?
It was on a Google sheet for a while.
Nice.
And then I don't know, maybe that old.
What's your favorite?
Man, that's so tough to say.
Maybe
Ozzy Osbourne, Halloween Night 2015.
Wow.
In the pouring rain at New Orleans Voodoo Fest. That had to be up there.
I bet that was electric.
It was quite literally electric.
Yeah.
Was Zach Wilde playing
No,
guitar?
it was so you had Gus G on lead guitar, and then Tom Morello and Slash were actually backing guitarists.
No way.
It was crazy.
That's rad.
Anyway, so the more important stuff. Let's talk about Eduardo.
Yes.
Please.
So let's just dive right into the humble beginnings. So I believe you're part of a UT campus leasing group, or am I just making this up?
I was an engineering student. I started at UT in 2019, and I had one semester pre-COVID, which honestly I was very glad I got to enjoy that, because a lot of people, even just a year younger than me, didn't have that, and it was a very different experience. I think post and or pre and post COVID. So I was an engineering student, and then I actually had a girlfriend dumped me. COVID happened. And I was like, man, I have so much time. So I got into real estate during that time.
I love that. I love that.
Which I think is a lot of people get into it when something shakes up in their life, the meme of a midlife crisis. I had my own version.
Crisis.
Yeah. So I got into that. At first it was just an occasional lease, but the traffic started to pick up, and I was like, damn, I should start a team. And I had people it's kind of crazy. I go back on my Instagram, and it's from 2020, and it's.
I went back to your first video today just to make sure I had that.
What was it? What was it?
You were just saying that what you could do for other students as a leasing agent.
Yeah, so that was all very new to me. I didn't know what I was doing. It's a very niche market, to be frank. So I joined Dash Realty. Are you guys familiar?
Yeah.
No, but it's probably a lot of leases, right?
No, it's
I feel like you usually work with them when they're property managers.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 100% commission kind of deal, which worked out for me because I needed something where I could have my own structure where I could charge my agents a split and have it not be a crazy split combined between my split and the broker. So I did that, and I grew to, I think, 21 agents.
Wow.
Total.
So what made you say, I want to start a team right away? Did you read the Gary Keller book?
No.
I thought that was dumb. That was the first chapter. Starting a team. This is on how to
Which
be
book?
a realtor.
The red one?
The Red Bible, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we all know that.
Millionaire real estate agent. Chapter 1, start a team.
No, I think I just scaled to the point where I needed it. It was I was getting a bunch of leads. I wanted people were writing to me how do you do this? I can't pay for my license. So I actually paid for a lot of their licensings, which was somewhat of
Were most of those profitable?
Honestly, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
is it, $400? $500?
Yeah, but think about how many agents won't do a single deal once they get
Yeah, well, the way it works in the campus area is it's you get paid per bedroom because the leases are per bedroom, and it was $500, I think, on average. So within, I think I had them on a 70-30, so it'd be $150 to me per lease. So within 3 or 4, it was already basically
Sure.
like a breaking even point.
And it's all, when you were saying leads, I mean, I'm assuming the majority of it's word of mouth, right? I mean, you're not
Social media too.
social media. Okay.
Dude, I was crazy. I would go to the sorority houses, and there's like, I don't know, 300 members for each sorority on average.
Okay.
And they would have their monthly or their weekly chapter meeting on Monday, all of them for some reason, which was annoying because I'd have to like stagger them. But I would go in person and I would do like a presentation of like, hey, all of you are going to sign a lease on campus. All of you can just walk in and like sign a lease, or you can go with me. It's not going to affect your rate. It's not going to make you have less concessions or specials or anything. So basically like a net positive for them just for my assistance. And
They have representation.
yeah, so like why not basically? I looked at all the students like having it's kind of a bad analogy, but I was like, you all have like a $500 like dollar bill stapled to your foreheads. I was like, why not? If I could just get in front of enough people, convince them of that free value add, like that'd be cool. So I'd go to their chapter meeting and I'd be like, I'd present in front of 300 girls, which had other perks as well.
Yeah.
And what I would do, that was the
You're
kicker.
fixing the single thing now.
Yeah, and the thing that had the kicker was I would do, this is the best ROI I think I've ever had. I would buy like $100 Lulu card,
Okay.
and I would do the presentation on a PowerPoint. And then the last slide was a QR code that I rigged up. So like if they scanned it, I'd get their name, their phone number, and their email. And I'd be like, all right, we're going to do a live drawing. Like this, you have to scan it right now though. Yeah. And all of them, literally they would fight. They'd be like climbing over each other because it'd be in a huge like living room kind of situation. So they're all just like sitting like crisscross applesauce on the floor. Mm-hmm. And they'd be like climbing over each other trying to scan it. And I would just sit there like, oh yeah.
I'd be filming that.
Oh yeah.
that's a real moneymaker.
Yeah. And then they would basically scan in, and then I would do like a Google Forms to Google Sheets. And then I would do like a randomization wheel thing. And I'd pick a winner. I'd take a photo with her. And honestly, I just got a bunch of leads that way, and I'd give them to the team. Team leads, 50-50 team leads. Personal leads, they brought in 70-30 or 80-20, depending on how long they'd been with me.
What year do you think this was?
2021.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I remember this. We've been Instagram friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So have you taken any of the things that you were doing in 2021 with like, sorority houses and everything like that and kind of implemented it into your business later on?
It's a good question. I did some giveaways. I think I've seen you. Have you done a giveaway on your Instagram?
I did once, and I just thought it was so pick me bitch. So I could not do it again. I felt too much like Rachel lately.
Oh,
no, I didn't want to.
Shout out to Rachel lately.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I haven't done.
Yeah, we love her.
I haven't quite replicated that exact mechanism for lead gen, but I have done giveaways on my Instagram now. Honestly, not in a long time. But it was just a different environment. I feel like that was a high concentration of potential leads with little to lose, all to gain, and with $100 thing that they all, would die for.
What about even just the presentation setup that you currently have? I mean, one of the things that I've seen people do in the past is they'll, go to leasing offices that pretty much, I mean, this is probably not the market for it because I would envision leasing companies want to keep their tenants, but a lot of times when things are pretty hot, they're interested in turning over tenants and doing like, I don't know, you basically did a presentation saying, hey, you're gonna sign a lease, you're gonna do this, you might as well have me represent you. Doesn't that sound something that could be translatable to somebody who's currently in a lease that might want to buy?
Well, also those property management companies, I mean, they're all licensed. You could give them referral fees on top of that.
Sure.
I've tried that before, but
how did you go about that?
They don't want you in there.
No, they don't.
Like I tried to do it at the apartment I was living at because I'm like, I don't know, all these people are renting for over $2,000 a month. Like they could be homeowners.
Yeah.
But I think used to, when I worked for Fly Homes in Seattle, my job was going to companies and doing lunch and learn presentations, and I would do it for like Amazon and Microsoft and Nintendo and name another big company in like the Seattle area. Mm-hmm. And like they were great. If I could get up in front of 20 people, we would get 2 home buyers out of it just from a 1-hour class.
That's cool.
But it is God, it's so hard to get into the door and like get through to the HR people to be like, hey, just let me.
I've done one of those. My brother works at Applied Materials.
Ooh.
So he put me on. They had like I think he's part of the Hispanic, it's some acronym, Hispanic Engineer Group or something like that. And they routinely have like industry professionals from different walks of life that come in and give a presentation. And that was my first like corporate presentation. Yeah.
That is a walk of life.
Well, so we started with the sorority stuff, the college stuff, and then my apologies for interrupting. What was the next?
No, all good. I was going up and up, and it honestly was a huge ego boost. I really liked being the leader. It felt really cool. But I graduated and I just kept doing the same thing, and I realized like, damn, like I gotta, like West Campus is a small pond at the end of the day. You know, I was like, I gotta get somewhere else so I can continue growing. My income had kind of like plateaued. I had a pretty good market share worth of that neighborhood. So I was like, okay, I'm going to join. I'd been with Dash, I think 3.5 years at that point. So I was like, okay, where do I go next? And I went brokerage shopping, which is like, I think a very unique, a very complicated experience for a lot of people. Cause they're like, I don't know where I want to go. Should I go somewhere like Keller Williams with like the Red Bible and like get proper training in the residential space? Or should I try to do like a luxury, like Compass one? Would they even take me? So that was a whole experience of its own.
Wait, by brokerage hopping, do you mean you moved to the
shopping?
Like you just walked in the front door and said, what are y'all all about?
No, I would just find someone on Instagram that was in that brokerage and like try to do like a meet and greet with them, go get coffee, like chat, like, hey, I want to move. I don't know, like, what do you guys offer? What's it like?
It's a smart thing to do.
How do you like it?
Move brokerages when there's someone like the people at your company that, you know, guilt them into a meeting. And then here we are. Oh, you want to learn about RevShare?
Have you had a chat?
Yeah, I had to. I'm pretty sure I blocked Diego.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm on the edge of my seat. So what happened?
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know, where do I go?
Answering, I didn't block.
So I was like, fuck, like, where do I go? I don't know what I should do. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go from sitting at the edge of the table, being like the head of the table or whatever. I want to go be a fly on the wall somewhere so I can actually learn. Because I was the best in that neighborhood. But I think I'd sold like 2 or 3 houses outside of the area. Like only sales were like 2 or 3 of them. And I've been an agent for like 3 years. Just because I wasn't even trying to do that really. I was just focused on like the apartment.
Proof that you can sell a house by accident.
Yeah. One of them was my brother, admittedly. But yeah, so I was like, I don't know, fuck, like, where do I go? And then I decided I wanted to be on a team as a member, not the lead. And then I got in touch with Diego's friend, Victor. And I had a buddy, Andres Bustamante.
Oh, yeah, I know Andres.
I went to high school with him. I
know him from the Tom Ferry group.
He graduated when I was going in, so I didn't go to school with him. But he was like, oh, let's like sit down. Like, we're at Keller Williams now, but like we're planning like a big move. I can't tell you too much until we meet. And I was like, oh, kind of peaked.
This is Victor Nino in your story.
Yes.
Oh, I had a question to follow this one up.
Yeah, so I was like, oh
What's
my God.
His brother's name? I know his brother.
Lino.
Yeah.
LC, but Lino.
Yeah, I've worked with him a couple different times. I like working with him. I've never worked with Victor, but yeah.
His license number is like with the 2 or something like that. Yeah.
I only work with people with license numbers in the zeros.
Oh, really?
So
yeah.
You had to...
I like to make sure they're 98 years old.
So you had to meet with them first to hear the big announcement.
I met with him and they were like, hey, we're planning on... Victor's been working on this for like a year. They're going to start this new brokerage. It's going to be something big. And I was like, that's cool, but like I'm just here to like see what I could join. And they said, we're going to move the whole team over. They invited me. I went to one of their team meetings as like a final trial to see if I liked it, I guess. And I took a chance on it. I was used to getting 100% commission at Dash plus everything I made off the team. And I was going to be moving into a space on a team where I was going to be getting like a 70-30 or whatever it was. And, so I took a huge pay cut on percentage-wise at least. And I was very hesitant at first because of that, but I figured, hey, if I got 70% of a much bigger pie, that would still be more pizza in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about dollars and cents. We talk about this a lot when we're on the podcast. You know, you got lead gen people that are on Zillow leads and stuff like that. don't want
we have plenty of friends with Spyglass Realty that
you just come out and say it. They just did that giant post yesterday.
I hate to say it, like I just they don't lead gen for themselves. So I mean, if they want to make money, they're kind of
That
glued
post-
to those
I've
Zillow
never
leads.
done a Zillow lead. I don't even know what that's like.
And
Like,
well, here's my
I
thing.
have
Like
free
this
ones
just
from the rental manager, but
that's what I get, but I haven't paid. My interpretation of it is like
yeah.
you're basically like just kind of waiting on the phone, and then it's incoming call. Hey, can you meet me the model in 10 minutes, or can you be at this location in 10 minutes?
Oh, it's stressful.
So
I've
never done it.
Paid for it, but this wonderful agent friend of mine, shout out Christine Shu, she would go on vacation to China like for 2 weeks of every couple of years, and she asked me if I would like take over the Zillow phone for her. She's like, any lead you get, you're just going to be a member of my team for those 2 weeks, but like answer the phone. And I'm like, I'm great at answering phones. She's like, I know, that's why I chose you. Let me tell you, you are glued to your phone day and night. If that phone rings, like you're at its beck and call.
That's not my issue with it. I mean, everybody needs to start somewhere in the business, and there's nothing wrong with taking leads. The reason that I was laughing that you brought up what you just mentioned is because, there was this big post yesterday that showed all of the production of all of the agents, and it's no secret that it's kind of slow in the real estate market right now. I think we'd all be liars if we didn't at least admit that. And I know a lot of agents that are looking at production of other agents, and sometimes they get down on themselves about it. And they're like, what am I doing wrong? And when I saw that post, I just literally was this close to commenting, like, powered by Zillow.
Oh, you would have stirred the pot, dude.
Because the problem with Zillow is not the lead. I mean, it's a great way to build your business. But, to your point about the pie, this is why I brought up the whole thing. If you're closing $2 million in production, what are you actually taking home on that, right? Because, just to use random numbers, like if you're only taking home $20,000 on $2 million worth of production, like I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. Right?
Yeah, no.
I'm just not. And
I'm impressed you're still alive.
Yeah, honestly, dude, it shocked me how. I don't know how much so many people. I think a lot of people fell off the end. You're the stat guy. Like, what percent of realtors left?
He's a stat.
You're the stat guy.
If you think I have stats,
Because I've seen. I did my homework too. I was watching some of it in your feed, and it was like, oh, what percentage of leads come from social media? What the NAR statistic report?
I love the NAR trends report. That is my favorite annual thing.
Well, the real stat, because unfortunately for this business, in real estate specifically, is that there's just a lot of agents that just hang on to their license because it's really not that expensive to renew, right?
Yeah.
So talking about agents that like hang up their license versus agents that do not close a transaction at all. One of the stats that I was, kind of very shocked by is it's something in the high 80s that over 80% of real estate agents only have closed one transaction in the last 12 months. So, I mean, you have a huge, how many of them close? 0? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this, and like I've always said, I wish that they put together some sort of like requirement to where you had to close a specific number of transactions a year, or your renewal is something like $10,000.
A mass culling.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're seeing so many team leads kick off members of their team. And actually, with that in mind,
I've been there.
As now a team leader, do you have sales requirements for your teammates?
I haven't implemented like a sales quota minimum, but I definitely calculate. Even back when I was in college and I did like the on the apartments, I'm a big Excel guy. I love Excel sheets. So I was like, yeah, I was an I'm nice at the sheets. I say I'm a freak in the sheets.
I've seen that shirt with the Excel logo.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, what's my break even? How many transactions does each person need to make? And there's a lot of assumptions that go into that. What's the average sales price that I'm going to model that with? What is the average commission rate? Because if you're going new construction, you can hit a 5% pretty frequently. I don't know if I've hit 7. I've hit a 7.
Promoting new construction often, but I agree. Yes.
If someone hits me up and says, "Hey, I want to buy a new house," like I'm not going to say no.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So like 7% on a $300K house. I had one of those last year, and it was like, damn, 20,000. It was crazy. But yeah, I think I haven't had to implement a minimum, but I could see why. Like if I was spending a lot of money on the team, then that would be something I have to enforce. But to date, they've all been very productive, which I don't know if that was because I picked a good agent or maybe the systems on the team are good, but very happy so far with it. And
are they all bringing all of their own business, or are you providing leads? Or?
They all bring their own, and they get paid higher splits on personal transactions, which I think is pretty common and fair.
Sure.
If I do give them a lot of, almost every single listing I have, I put them on as a second agent, like a co-listing agent.
Are they getting paid for that, or it's just to boost?
They do all the work, and they get 30%. Is typically what I kind of structure it as. Well, I mean, let's be real. Getting the lead is the hardest part.
I will say getting lead is 30% of the work for sure.
Yeah, or like getting a $700K seller is, what is that going to be? $21,000 if it's a 3% listing, and you're going to give someone a chance to make $6,000 by putting the listing on the MLS, doing an open house or two, and showing it a few times. I think
Who
that's
answers the phone when the seller's calling you crying, saying that it's not selling?
Me.
Oh, okay. See, that's where 30% of the money comes from, right there.
Yeah,
The sellers.
well, because that's another whole other issue. It's like if you have a team, you don't want the seller to think that you just offloaded the lead to a rookie agent,
Right?
but you do need to leverage it at a certain point.
Do you bring that teammate to your consultation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only way to do it.
They put a face to the name.
You're getting both of us for.
You're getting 2 agents for the price of 1, that spiel. But Frank, I think
I'd bring all 12.
Yeah, I know. I lift the heavy weight on the consultation because that's what I'm better at, to be honest. But then the actual, I don't want to drive I live in Mueller. I don't want to drive to Buda or to Gerald to put a sign in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I can just have, one of the team members I have a list of tasks that second agent's supposed to do. So that helps them a lot. They just, they know what they need to do, and they go drive, put it, come back. And it allows me to kind of have a more leveraged operation.
I agree.
Yeah. And right now I think I have 26 listings.
Wow.
So I damn well need them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. For sale.
And did you bring in all of those, or did the teammates bring in some of them?
16 of them I brought in. 10 of them are they're with a home builder that made me the listing agent on them.
That's crazy.
So 17 unique addresses, I guess, and then 9 repeats, so 26 total.
What do you do to get in with a home builder? Nobody listens to this podcast, don't worry.
That was, to be honest, they hit up Andres Bustamante, but he's he's kind of at a phase in his career, I think, where he wants to work less and leverage.
A guy who's 28 years old.
Well, he sells his 15 to 20 M's every year for the last couple of years, and he's consistent.
I agree.
So he's I don't want, and that community's in Liberty Hill and in Georgetown, and he lives by you.
Yeah.
So he's he put me and my buddy Juan on it. He's like, do you guys want this? And admittedly, he recruited me to ROA, so he gets a cut anyway through the rev share. So it was okay, yeah, we'll take it. I walked in there. It was kind of a crazy meeting. I'd never done something like that before. We go to the corporate headquarters for Saratoga Homes, which is the builder. And the guy that we met with was very short and cutting. You could tell he works in the office. He was like, "Can you guys handle these 10 listings?" And I kind of had to just portray an utmost confidence, yeah, of course, absolutely. And he said, he needs us to staff it a couple of times a week, which is a challenge again, logistically, getting my team members to go sit in the model. Interpersonal relations, because they have their own salespeople who work in the model, and that breeds kind of a competitive, not enjoyable atmosphere, because they feel, they hired us because they weren't doing the job. They weren't getting them sold. So yeah, that's been fun to navigate, but it's going well. And that's just 10 of them. The other 16 are kind of sprinkled throughout the city, and I'm well aware of where each of my team members lives. So I know that, hey, Yasmina lives in Hutto. So if I ever get a listing, rent, or sale in Hutto, I'm going to put her on it. I'm not going to put someone who lives in Dripping Springs.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then that doesn't make sense.
Well, so just because we pride ourselves on being a no bullshit podcast, I want to learn more about, so as far as the builder's requirements for y'all, let's say someone walks into the open house that one of your team members is staffing, they want to sign a contract, it still goes back to a salesperson? Or are y'all now
I'm the listing
taking
agent.
over?
I negotiate. I write I get 3% as the listing agent on any sale there, which is honestly pretty nice. The problem that comes up is, hey, the salesperson that's working there, if someone comes in and it's a low traffic community, which is why they needed us, one person might come in the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person comes in, it's like, okay, does the sales rep get the buyer side or does my person get the buyer side?
I agree.
And-
That's the question.
And you know what the sales manager said? Whoever gets to them first.
Well, who can run
Which
faster?
I was like, I was like, oh my
They
God.
don't
Like,
care.
and I told them, I was like, dude,
I'll grab them out of the car.
I told them that's not going to be a productive environment. Like your staff is going to be angry with you, and they're unique in the sense that I hope they pay their people per hour a little bit, because most builders don't at all. The salespeople don't get paid at all per
I
hour.
always thought they were on salary plus bonus.
I just got lunch with one of them right now, and she said 0. She works for Perry
That's great.
in Easton Park. So,
They get a lot of walk-in.
but
traffic, though.
they do. That's why I figured somewhere less traffic, maybe they get some kind of base. But I told the sales director for Saratoga, I was like, I don't think that's going to be I don't think the people that you employ are going to enjoy that very much. And he said, quote, sales is a competitive endeavor, so let it be so, or something like that. I was
It's
like,
almost
wow,
like-
bro.
This is the builder.
Yes, the builder superintendent, like the guy that runs the whole Austin subdivision. I told him, like, it's not going to go well, but
What a badass.
so I had a team meeting and I sat there Wolf of Wall Street mode in front of all it's 9 ladies and me and Juan, so 11. And I was like,
Just start beating your
I want you to
chest.
ram Saratoga down your clients' throats till they choke on it and buy 100,000 shares.
Yeah.
It was basically that. And I told him, I want you guys to look, the sales rep's going to get in the garage, because that's where the office is. They're going to be posted up there. It's glass where the door's supposed to be so they can see. I need you to get in the home office that's in the actual house where you can see the front of the property. If you see a car pull up, walk outside and get them.
I'll be in the
So I
guard
told
tower
them-
outside.
So I said, well, literally walk outside and get them. And they were like, are you sure they're going to? And I said, like, don't be timid. Don't be shy. Like, if it's going to be like this, then we got to do what we got to do.
Is Lauren Swanner working in that community?
No.
No. Okay. All right. I feel
Shout
like
out
when you
Lauren
mentioned
Swanner, real estate
yeah, when you
pro.
mentioned the office
Shout
in
out.
the garage, I have definitely done an open house or
Oh,
something.
all of the builders have an office in the garage.
Okay.
Yeah, they
That's
convert,
standard.
the model unit will convert the garage into like their,
Gotcha. All right,
they'll
so
have
that's
like
way
the
it
community
goes.
map and all the printouts of the floor plans and the incentives and all that.
I feel like the builders, the Saratoga Homes manager, it's like the restaurant manager that puts help wanted sign in the window just to make their employees work harder. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I'm getting ready to fire all of you.
It's exactly that. And that's been interesting, man. That was
Instead,
something
they
that's
should
only
just
been
pay for
there.
marketing.
I've only had that role for maybe a month. So that's
I'm
new.
just wondering
Have
why
any
not
sold?
just bring in real estate teams
One.
like they're doing and then just get rid of the.
I told him that. I said, look, I'm having trouble motivating my team to want to staff it because they're going to be fighting. Like if no one else was going to be there, they would line up to be there because they could just take it as a work from home day.
Yeah, and if the sales
Like an
reps
open
are
house.
unpaid,
Right.
It's like an open house when no one comes. Like,
Why
what do
don't
you do?
Just fire
Just-
your sales staff and hire us.
exactly.
Yeah, but if the sales reps are unpaid, why not have them?
I
guess
think-
that's it.
Because most of them are only making 1 or 2%.
Yeah, why
where
don't
you're
you just
making 3.
recruit the salespeople as your.
I told him, like, look, if you want me to staff this thing 7 days a week, because that's what he wanted at first, I was like, get rid of the salespeople. I'll staff it 7 days a week. And you staff it from 10 or from 9, we have to be there, 9 to 7 days a week. So I was talking to my co-team lead, and I told him, like, dude, if there's not a lot of traffic and it's not looking like it's going to pick up, we're going to have to start paying our team members a couple bucks an hour just to, like, make it worth their time to sit there. And because then I made an Excel sheet where they could sign up. And at first they were all motivated, very happy. But then problems with the sales reps, low traffic. It's like, okay, people start not signing up. And then because I have a commitment, I found myself going to Georgetown 3 times a week to sit there for 10 hours or whatever, because I take that seriously.
Yeah, that's the worst part about being the boss. Is
And
like,
because it's my ass then.
exactly.
And I get a call from this guy that's just like, why was no one there on Saturday? And I'm like, I didn't check the schedule. Or, and I slept once and I was like, I vowed to never do it
Saturday,
again.
the most important day of the
And
week.
the most important day, and then someone gets a flat tire, which is totally BS.
That's total bullshit.
Total
Car
bullshit.
won't start.
I need to
unless
pick up
that's
my
the day.
kid. I'm like, girl, it's Saturday. You're like, what are you talking about? But
Kids with its dad.
I don't know, dude. But yeah, that's a whole new thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think about like, I always hold my own listings open at least the first 2 weekends. And if there's no traffic, what would make me want to do it again?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I just laid on my staging furniture for 4 hours each day. Like, what was the point?
Do you believe in the effectiveness of open houses for sales?
Like, there's a lot of agents online that think yes. And I know there's some agents where their whole business is coming from it, but I would, here's the thing. I can go to a people meeting event and I can guarantee that I'll meet at least 5 people. I sit at the open house and I'm basically a prisoner there, hoping that someone walks in the door. Maybe they're a little further down the funnel, but most people who walk into open houses, they're not very far down the funnel. Or if they are, they're already working with another agent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't. There's plenty of agents I see online who do open houses 7 days a week. And
we talk about this on the podcast all the time, and
Really?
just to give context, I mean, we're over 250 episodes. So I've talked to a lot of agents about this, and I relate open houses similarly to the way that I relate networking events.
Okay.
So I have certain salespeople and or real estate agents that swear up and down that like networking events and networking in general is like how they get all of their business. And you put other people out into networking events and they just absolutely suck at it. They don't like it. They're not effective. They think it's a waste of time. And the same thing is with open houses. So I really think it's a combination of, number one, like who's the individual that we're talking about? And number two, like what's their plan? Because if your plan is to like go into an open house and you're not going to follow up with the people who come in, you're not going to interact with the people who are there, obviously it's not going to work. Now, the one thing I will argue is that if you go to a networking event, you're guaranteed to talk to people. If you go to an open house, there's a possibility nobody shows up. So you can't sell someone if they're not there. But if
True.
you're going to be in an open house that's going to actually have traffic, I see people do amazing. And obviously that first, I'm already working with an agent. We all know that 80% of the
What's
time
your
is-
agent's name then?
Exactly.
I always ask them that.
Right.
Like I know a lot of agents in the industry. Like, oh, I
That's
wonder if
why-
I know them. What's their name?
Well, because as a lender, I mean, I've done a
And
ton
they
of
know
open
they're
houses,
and they know that they're lying, dude.
there's
Right.
been a couple times I'm like, oh, I actually know them. Let me text them right now.
Same.
And they're like,
Oh, yeah.
For me as a lender, that's awesome when they're like, I'm like, who's your agent? If they can't say who it is, it's a good at-bat for the realtor that's there with me. If they can say who it is, I immediately reach out to that agent and say, hey, I saw one of your clients at 123 Main Street. I'm the lender. They were actively out looking at this property. You may want to just reach back out to them and make sure that they're not, super interested in writing an offer.
my other thoughts on open house traffic, like I would never do one at a condo where there had
Oh
to
my
be
God.
2 different doors. I also like most of my listings are like in suburbia. Now, if I had a listing that was quite literally on a main street, on a main road where you get, 20,000 cars a day, I think that would probably be a better open house. There would be people who might just stop by just because I hired the snow cone truck in the front.
Oh yeah.
Cone of snow.
I was gonna ask. I think
and I've done it before.
there's how'd that go?
I did one in Shady Hollow. That a place? Yeah, that's Shady Hollow. That we probably had like 20, 30 people show up to the snow cone truck. And I was like, honestly, I don't even care if you come in the house, but I've already paid $500 for this snow cone truck. So just come use it. But that's like almost all families in that neighborhood, where I've tried it in like 2 other places and we literally had like the next door neighbors and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've only eaten 5 snow cones myself. I'm not getting my money out of them.
That's how you got diabetes, right?
Yeah. I beat it. I beat diabetes.
To circle back on the open house thing, I think picking a good one, like when you want to host one open, if it's your own listing, that's one thing. But if you ever host a house that's not your listing,
Not anymore.
When you
couple
used
years
to-
ago, I would.
I still do that sometimes, and it's like I've gotten pretty methodical about which, because nothing's worse than going spending the time to put the signs up, doing all that, and then having no one come through. So it's a science, I think, to pick a good one. I go for like a fresh listing or recently reduced pricing or something I think is a really good deal. And then obviously with good traffic, maybe not a main road, but not something that's, 4 or 5 streets or 4 or 5 turns away from a major road where no one's going to see it.
I wouldn't even want to own the house that's 4 or 5 turns from the major road.
Yeah.
It's just
what else I see people do that's really effective at open houses, and this just was like an aha moment I don't want to skip. This actually reminds me of Ina, for example. So my better half is Russian, right? So like European, Eastern European. And I think a lot of times when you are doing open houses, not only do you obviously want to like follow up and do all of the things, but like your tribe, right? So like when someone comes in, and I know this sounds almost like, for lack of a better term, like prejudging or prejudice, but it's like if the majority of your clients are like young people between the ages of like 25 and 30, and and someone like that walks through, like you double down on that. Like you're definitely following up, you're doing all the things. So going back to like Ina being Eastern European, like somebody walks in the door and they've got an accent and they're Eastern European and everything. First of all, she's automatically like doubling down to, gain rapport and everything. And then she's following up with that person. Whereas like, maybe the older couple that just seems kind of annoyed by her and everything, like she's going to follow up because that's what you're supposed to do, but she's not, that's not like her tribe per se. And I don't think I see enough of that in just sales in general, because we did the event last week. If I would have known you, I would have invited you. We did a Cars and Cigars event that was for guys only.
Okay.
Right? So it was sponsored by Gold Star, and we got a bunch of real estate agents there, because I had a conversation with one of my sales coaches, and without going into a ton of detail, identified that I wasn't working with enough male agents. And I mean, there's a why behind that. Your industry is dominated by women, just statistically. But
I continue to be his golden goose year after year, though.
You are one of them for sure.
Me too.
But the others are lesbian women.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Shout out to Jamie Saul with EXP. But what I was getting at is, going through the metrics of everything, I identified that I was working with more women, but I was closing more deals pound for pound with men. And so they're like, you've got to get in front of more male real estate agents, blah, blah, blah. And it's something that I've been mindful of over the last 90 days, and I am seeing results. That's not to take anything away from women.
Of course.
But just identifying who that person is that you seem to connect with better and work with more. Going back to the whole open house thing, easy analogy with my better half Ina with the Eastern European thing. I think that's another miss that we as salespeople do. It's good to treat people equally, but at the same time, who your
It takes time to identify that audience, though.
Yeah,
it takes time, and there's also.
I mean, you figured out sororities real quick.
Yeah, no, that was a natural. That was the natural evolution.
So
I was in a. It wasn't a fraternity, but I was like in a. It was just called a spirit group.
Uh-huh.
It was basically a non-Greek fraternity. There was a house. There was like a pledging process. All that.
Drank spirits.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that was kind of just adjacent to me, but there's a lot of groups like engineering frats. There's a whole sector that are not the Greek frats. There's like Asian frats,
right.
Black frats. There's Latino frats that I could have gone and done the exact same thing for. It's just what was adjacent my group,
right?
And I was the social chair for my group, which means I was in charge of putting all the parties together and all that. Mm-hmm. So it's a natural stepping stone, personally.
Look, something I learned in college: if you want to meet people, seek officer position.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, though.
When I became a resident assistant, automatically you're just expected. You have to know everyone on campus, and then I learned from that, and I was like, okay, well, marketing association, I might as well just be the vice president of it, and then everyone wants the office. Everyone wants the officer position filled, and nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
But that's how you meet everyone.
I think that was a huge lead propulsion for me. But that's another topic I wanted to kind of talk about in my, since we're going through the full rise.
Yeah, man.
The rise and haven't fallen yet. But I had a point where I was thinking okay, should I Should I go forsake all of this low-hanging fruit that is the college student, easy leases? I was tied into all of them because of my position in the Spirit Group. Should I focus on leasing all these college girls and college guys, or should I maybe pump the brakes on that and go do an open house when I'm 19 years old? I don't even know the neighborhoods at all. I don't even know the highways because I don't leave campus. I think you can still be successful looking like a little kid in a suit, but a lot of people, I didn't know how to handle those objections yet, and I thought, like, should I throw myself into the fire? And would I have been better off if I would have tried to do that? Or should I stick to my tribe, the people that I know, that I communicate with? And I don't know, like a 40-year-old realtor with Keller Williams can't come into the campus area, pick up 4 college girls in the back of their car, and take them to look at apartments without it being weird.
They can.
They much rather hop in the car with me, and I put on some Harry Styles, and like, oh, and I would get them like a little water bottle, and they love me.
Dude, I'd hop in right away.
Yeah, and I got them on Instagram, and it was like, okay, like I'm gonna play to my strength. Like what?
And that would be the answer I would give you too.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and I'm very happy I did that because now a lot of them are still in Austin. A lot of them are renting $3,000 leases. And I know in the next 2-3 years, they're going to start getting married, having kids, and I'm going to have a huge tsunami because it was almost like building a pyramid. Like my base is so wide because I did over 100 leases a year for like 3-4 years.
Dude,
and I've dragged some of those people through 4 different apartments throughout the last 6 years. So when it's time, honestly, I'm guilty of it. I don't even follow up with them sometimes. I probably should. They text me like, hey, Ed, you got my apartment in 2022. And I've been there since, but I'm going to move now.
Follow-up assistant. I just recently have one.
Yeah, why isn't one of your teammates doing all this follow-up for you?
I just didn't have a CR. I don't know.
I told you that I could allow you to use my inside sales associate for free if you just get me the information, you give me a script, and I'll appointment set for you. Well, I won't do it, but I have someone that will.
I think we need to talk more about that.
Because he'll turn those $3,000 renters into the next step, which is buying, where their monthly payment's $2,800.
Dude, I'm trying to get them to do that, but it's so tough. A lot of the people that are in their 20s, at least the people I know, they'd rather pay $3,000 for some shitty downtown apartment all crammed up. Instead of, I preach to them, I make videos about it, I talk to them. Like, because I own multiple houses, and I tell them, like, look, you can do this. You can rent out the rooms, house hack it. You can do any number of things. But they think living in Butte is too far.
Yeah, it's lifestyle.
And it's like, I'd rather throw away $3,000. I tell them, like, you're just throwing it away. I'll sign your lease, but honestly, for the same payment or even lower, you're going to have a 3-bedroom house.
It's going to require a lifestyle.
And they won't do it. And that's been a big frustrating point for me because there are also people, it's not even an age thing. I think I went to UT. A lot of my buddies are used to moving in more, I don't know, they have the affluent lifestyle of spending money at restaurants. They want to live nearby. They don't have like I want to save up and buy my first house mentality.
Well, I think this is an identity problem. They identify themselves as someone who lives downtown and does those things.
I know.
It's great. You can own a condo downtown too and get the same amenities.
But they can't afford it. That's the thing. The properties, it's not that they're allergic or opposed to home ownership. It's just the standard they're used to and the location they want commands a $700K price tag.
No, I'm with you.
And they can't afford it.
And the other thing is, something breaks in that condo, they have to fix it. There's really something great about renting. It's someone else takes care of your shit.
From the lending standpoint, I deal with this all the time, and here's a fun fact for you, and this is actually going to play to your benefit quite a bit because you were doing the sorority thing. Women see way
Eduardo, the sorority guy.
Dude, that was years back. Oh my god,
he's doing the sorority.
But if you're following up with these leases, women see way more value in home ownership than guys do. Both of them want this downtown lifestyle and everything, but what I've learned from a sales standpoint, having these conversations about the finances, because you're showing homes, but I get to see a little bit more than a real estate agent does. I know what's going on. I know what the car payment looks like. I know what the money
on a purchase. I see that on leases.
Right. Okay.
Which is way more invasive than.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But what I'm getting at is like women see a lot more value in home ownership and see the value in terms of appreciation. Guys, for some reason, they're more like freaks in the sheets, where they like to look at like Bitcoin. They like to look at investments and things like that. They would rather use their money and invest it in something like a vehicle in respect to that than a home. That's why I've over the last few years gravitated a lot more toward female buyers than I have over, like younger, what I call just like crypto bros, like, guys your age, frankly, because they want the lifestyle. This is not about anybody individually, but, blanketed statement. You're right. Like, they want to live downtown. They think buying a home's a waste of time, waste of money. They'd rather keep their money in the market and, and have an identity that doesn't, meet, because they're like, well, you're showing them the benefits of the investment side of real estate, but they're like, well, I'm already invested over here.
Yeah. A lot of them also, in my specific case, everyone that's my age, I'm 25, a lot of them have never been able to afford buying a house, and their memory is from 2020 onward,
Right,
and to them, it's like, okay, the market is absolutely ripped the last 5 years, because it really has. Unprecedentedly ripped, and I'm waiting for it to crash, honestly. But the stock market has gone crazy.
Right.
Interest rates have gone in the wrong direction. So, and home prices have plummeted. So you try to sit there and tell them, hey, it's a long-term financial smart move. They're, it's almost hard not to be
25 years old.
Yeah,
5 years ago they were not even old enough to drink.
Yeah, and they have no idea that.
Legally.
I mean, shit, me too. But they had no idea that. I look at that backwards. I think, man, it's a great time to buy a house if you can. It's tough though, because the cost of living rent-wise is, a house you can buy for the monthly payment being $3,000. You could probably rent it for like 25 or less in most cases. So it's like, okay, the benefit of owning it long term, sure, it's going to pay off, but it's not like a no-brainer type of situation where the rates are super low and like, oh, it's going to be great.
There's no guarantee it's going to pay off. I mean, I'm selling a house right now for some clients who purchased last May. They had a life change. They want to move back to where they're from. And I'm like, all right, well, we got a great deal last year, and now we'd be lucky to break even this year because of how great a deal we got last year, but it's probably not going to happen. We've had one showing on the house. So, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to. I make all my buyers tell me to my face that you will be here at least 5 years. You can lie.
Exactly.
But I just want to know before we get into this process that you're not getting yourself
It's always
involved.
been like that, too. I mean, I've been doing this over 20 years. The only time in my 20-plus year tenure that I have seen where you could buy a home and really do little to nothing to it and turn a profit would have been between the years of like 2019 and 2022. In the 20 years that I've been doing this, that's the only time I've ever seen it happen. So I've been saying, hey, 3 to 5 years bare minimum. If you're not going to do that, then this isn't a good fit for you.
Yeah.
But I relate kind of what you're saying with these, the younger guys. I've always had this analogy where this number, I should probably change what I'm about to say because this number doesn't mean
Keep it
anymore. But, I've trained so many salespeople to be loan officers, and the goal is like, hey, you need to make over $100,000 a year. Everybody wants to make over $100,000, and you hire on these new sales guys that are out of college, or maybe they were working a blue collar job, and making $100,000 is like, that's a lot of money to them. And what's interesting is like, I could show somebody my W-2, I could show like top sales guys 1099s, I could do whatever they need to do to see that this is completely attainable. It doesn't ever seem to move the needle until that person hits 6 figures, and then from there they never make any less than $100,000. But getting over that like mental block. So going back to the analogy, like you say to a 25-year-old guy, like, look, man, you're buying houses. Here's what's up. Da 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 da. Like, even if you could put together an entire spreadsheet that just made 100% ironclad sense, I swear it's just like the sales guy, where it's like this. He's like, I just can't see it. And then the moment they do it. You ever seen Batman Begins?
Yeah.
In the middle of Batman Begins where they show the part where he's like down with all of the prisoners and everything like that, and he's trying to climb out the hole and get out.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he ties the rope around himself and he climbs up and he misses and he swings down and he cracks himself against the wall. And then when he's healing the one time, he's talking to like the really old man. And he's like he's the only one that's ever seen anybody do it. And they said, you got to do it without the rope. And then he does it.
It's too heavy, yeah.
No, you got to fucking commit. Because if you climb up without the rope and you miss that jump, you're cooked.
Yeah, you're dying.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
And so no one wants to believe that, right? So they're like, nah, I'm gonna use the rope. Like, I don't know. I bring that up for sales and just life in general. It's just there's
I love
certain
that movie.
situations that it's just.
I agree with you. I
Using
think
the rope is going to help.
I think
how
once
end
they-
my real estate career.
That's another way to use it, I guess. Yeah.
I think once they see it like actually happening for them, they can. I exactly what you're saying. They just can't. They can't put that in. It's not in perspective. It's, hindsight's 20/20. Once they do it once, they're like, oh, I could have done this years ago. But that's a huge problem or challenge rather in my business is not convincing, but educating. Like, hey, trying to break the numbers down into manageable sizes of information. Like, look, you need to put this much down. Your payment's going to be the same as what you're renting for, or slightly more. But look, and I overcomplicate it again because I'm an engineer, and people just look at like the cash flow aspect of like how much is you paying in rent and how much is the mortgage going to be. But there's so many more other ways that the real estate benefits you tax wise, and
So I'm with you, but I think part of that's going to come with age. Most of the people you're talking to are exactly your age, and
I'm waiting for it.
the average first-time buyer is 41 years old.
They are now, yeah.
But that being said, I find that most of the people I know are looking to buy a house between like 30 to 33. So I think just give yourself some more time because I think those people will churn. I think your main objective should be how do I continue staying in front of them and make sure that I am their only person that they talk to about this.
Well, and then one of their frat bros will buy a house, and that'll be the barometer. They're like, "Well, fuck, if Robert can buy, like,
it's always the
crazy
jester of
to
the
me.
fraternity too.
Yes.
It's the dumbest guy in the group.
And if he can buy a home, well, fuck, man, I could totally afford to buy. It's like that's your metric of whether or not you can purchase.
I had a. Is it still connected? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're good.
I sold my first house, or the first sale I've ever had with a person I went to high school with was last year. It was it was the 700 or the 7% commission one, which is like super. I only hit one of those, which is super lucky.
Yeah, it's jackpot.
Yeah, but I did a video. I hired like a videographer and I did a full closing video with him. Cristobal is his name. Guy was the biggest clown in high school. Always getting in trouble, almost getting suspended or expelled like all the time.
Your DM's lit up.
And it went crazy. They were like, no mames, bro. Like that guy bought a house. Like no way. And now I'm nurturing some of them to that next step. But he set he set the bar, and I think you're exactly right.
Now,
like that.
If that same guy was a software engineer and had always been an upstanding,
Would not have splashed the same.
Nobody would have responded. They'd be like,
No.
that makes sense.
No, this guy was like he was known to be like the funny class clown.
I'm telling you, man, I've been seeing that for years, and that's why every closing I do with agents, I do this like kind of post-close presentation right at the closing table, and I finish it off with, if you decide that you want to have a housewarming party, I'll cater it for you. I just want to be invited. I want to introduce myself to your friends, your family, and I'll cater the entire event. And people are like, "Oh, wow, that's so generous." Now,
I'll bartend it.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't take
I'll
advantage
dance.
of it. But the reason I do it is because I get so much business out of these. Like the close ratio is so high because, again, going back to what I said, like friends come over and it's the stupidest way to determine whether or not it's time to buy a house, but it's insane. I mean, this is what I've been saying about this market right now is that, you can say that we have high interest rates, but you got in when interest rates were, in the 3s and 4s and shit.
We're under the 50-year average.
Right. And so as being the old dog in the room, like the interest rates that we're seeing right now, I mean, relatively speaking, are pretty normal. And so one of the things that is going to move the needle is going to be the herd mentality. It's going to be whatever it takes, whether it's the boomer dad that says now's the time to buy, whether it's, the clown from high school that just starts buying and convinces everybody. And it's the one thing that I hate about this business. It's so fucked up that the professionals can like put together presentations with spreadsheets and numbers and everything. And it's like, yeah, you just want to sell me something. But when like the high school class clown buys a home, your DMs light up because everyone's like, if fucking whatever his name is can buy, I can buy.
Cristobal. It's the same thing with, I've heard like the same thing with having a kid or getting married. Like as soon as someone in your friend group, love is in the air, everyone kind of starts the hurt monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. So I'm honestly excited about it. I hope
in a couple years you're gonna have to be at weddings all the time. And
I was in one last
when
week
you
in
get to go
Seattle.
to a client's wedding. I sold 3 houses from a client's wedding last year.
I think you told me about it.
Amazing ROI.
Yeah, gift
I
appropriately.
have a client's wedding in Pennsylvania that I'm going to in September. And I know I'm coming back with the sale.
That's crazy. I went to my first wedding outside of my family last month in Seattle, which is cool.
Hell yeah.
I know you keep talking about, are you from Seattle?
I lived there for 2 years right after college, yeah.
Nice. It was Lake Taps. It was Lake Taps.
Lake Taps? I don't even know where
It
Lake
was
Taps
so
is.
nice, bro. Southeast. Mount Rainier in the back. It was like a lake house.
Oh, so this was not in
party
Seattle
thing.
proper.
No. South of it.
I'll
But
take your word for it.
But yeah, it's exactly right. I posted that one test. Honestly, he crushed it. Like he gave like a whole testimonial after with the mic. I have
How
a video.
long ago was this?
Maybe like 4 or 5 months.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe we need to do a follow-up episode.
Dude, no, he's great. Like he.
My hot water heater broke.
No.
It's a new bill.
No, and he was doing, and he was like,
Yeah, nobody's gonna fix it.
he was going back and forth on the like English, Spanish, and to that point, I do half my deals in Spanish.
Okay.
Which is like a whole other aspect of this. But yeah, no, he did a whole like testimonial and he talked about like beginning that. I didn't even prompt him. I just gave him I wasn't even there. My camera guy just gave him the mic. And Cristobal and his now wife, because he just got married too. I was like, wow.
There it is,
That's what
gentlemen.
getting a house.
There
will
There
do
it
for
is,
you.
gentlemen.
And he
You
went
wanna
off,
impress a woman, get a house.
get a house. And he was like, no, Ed helped us from beginning to end. You know, I could send him a WhatsApp message at any, because he uses WhatsApp as a Mexican guy. And he was like,
That's so stereotypical.
it's
of him.
true though, dude. It's like,
yeah.
dude, the Latinos do not use iMessage. If I use iMessage with a Mexican client, they're going to think I'm a clown.
That's why I
Just
don't have
com-
Mexican clients.
I
Just
mean,
straight
I'm
up.
not going on that shit.
WhatsApp, the whole world uses WhatsApp except the US.
That happens dog
There's
water.
a huge
It's fucking weird why
there's
we
a
only
huge
use.
group of Latinos in the Amazon that work in not the jungle, Amazon, the company in Amazon, and I got connected with them. Long story, but I mean they refer like crazy, and
They do.
All of them just only deal with me through WhatsApp. I've closed 4 different transactions out of Amazon with this group that's all from Mexico that are here now.
Yeah.
Indians also refer like crazy. They give you other even more stingy people to work with.
That's the thing, though. The Mexicans aren't stingy.
Yeah,
Why,
once they're
They're-
referred out.
why
Dude,
are we
but-
not teaching the good clients to refer?
Bro, no, there's also like a kind of an offshoot, but there's a lot of different cultures do business in different ways.
Yeah.
And it might be, some people might call that like if they tried teaching that, imagine ABOR tried giving you a lesson. Maybe they do, but like for a real lesson on this is how you say hi to a Latino, you know, with the side cheek thing. Like some cultures, if you try that, it's like a fuck no. Or hey, like if your house is the front door is facing south, that's for Indian people that's a big no. And it's like, man, I had a listing that I literally couldn't sell because of that, and I didn't even know any better until a guy walked in and told me about it, and I was like, wow, man, like I'm sure Chinese people have their own way of doing business.
One of my favorite
And I was
stories.
like, fuck.
And this ends with a joke, but I had this Vietnamese client. I showed her this house in Cedar Park, and it was a rental, but like she seemed to really like it. And then she opened the front door to leave, and she goes, "Nope." And I was like, "Oh, what happened?" She's like, "See that tree?" She said, "It is right in front of the door." And I said, "Uh-huh."
Bruh.
She said, "It's calling me poor." And I said, "Oh shit. Did it say anything about me?"
Did it?
It did not.
It did not.
She did like the joke though, but yeah, that's when I learned about feng shui.
Yeah, or like, hey,
She did not lease house.
the front door and the back door can't be in a straight line because then money will flow in and out of the home.
She said
and
that.
not stay in. Exactly. So like all that stuff I didn't know, and that's just part of being a good real estate agent. If you know like
My
knowing
house,
those things
the
is
front
hard.
door and back door are
The-
in a line. Actually, at the flip house too. That
Yeah.
sucks.
But stuff like that is hard to know until you've gone through it, I guess. And I think the real estate classes don't really prep you for any of that and all of that.
Yeah, they got to be careful.
Or even, they teach you all this legal jargon, which I guess might be important in some specific cases, but they don't teach you like, what kind of grass or what kind of trees, what are they called? What's wainscoting? What is a sconce light? There's so much education to be able to properly go through a home and know what's going on. What is a pier and beam versus a slab? Like what kind of water heaters are there? What are the pros and cons? What's a PT slab on a concrete? What era of homes use PVC versus when was it cast iron in the past? You just memorize the 1978 lead-based paint, but like, man, there's so much more that if you're going to be doing business, like you ought to know, or the client expects you to know. And it's like, for a newer agent, it's just nerve-wracking of like, I don't know, let me check.
Yeah, it's like, I know what Traypac stands for, though.
Yeah. Like,
wasn't it you that just posted that whole thing about like having a different, like right now, if you're technically a realtor if you're a part of NAR, right? And this guy, you posted this other guy that was saying like they should do something along the lines of where you can't.
I sent you that in private. Yeah, but the great Byron Lazine, probably one of the best real estate speakers out there, because this man is down to the point. He also has a podcast called The Real Word. But yeah, he said there should be a different title for realtors who have only been in the business less than 3 years, and it should be something to the effect of like junior agent, because they probably aren't and they should have a certain number of qualifying sales before they can even practice.
That's what they make appraisers do.
I mean, that's what
they do that with every trade, bro.
broker.
Master electricians have different requirements than like an apprentice one.
Or I have clients all the time who are like, well, are you sure we're getting a good inspector? I said, do you know how tough it is to get your inspector's license? You have to shadow 600 inspections to get your inspector's license.
And they let us just take some aceable agent course, and then they can come in.
In Washington, I didn't even take a class. They let me walk right into the state test, and they said, if you pass it, you win. Great.
Did you pass it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's crazy.
It took me an hour.
I think it's
that is crazy.
There's a fine line between like empowering people to be able to go and do that, but it's a general public negative. I think how easy it is to, or like to your point, if you do less than one deal, it's like you're not really accruing any kind of experience. You don't know. You're guiding people in probably the biggest purchase of their life, and I mean, I think it's generally a bad thing for the public. Because sure, there's a few agents that might be real good out the gate, or maybe their partner was an agent, so they already know all that stuff just from hearing about it fucking their whole life.
Right.
Or their mom was a realtor. I get that, but like for the majority of people, they step in and they really don't know anything.
And I think that's why a lot of them fail. Right. That's why a lot of failure happens.
And it's honestly, I think it's a general disservice, and then. It's kind of unfair for one of those rookie agents to throw the client, and then you kind of have to do the legwork. Do you ever have to like babysit or push it through because they don't know shit about what's going on
with adult agents?
I mean, if I'm being totally honest, I'd say probably 40 to 50% of the time. And of the agents though that I have to babysit, I'd say it's 50-50, where 50% of them kind of just don't give a shit. It's not that they don't know, they just don't care, and then the other 50 of that 50 is they just don't know. But my favorite line, because you talk to a lot of these like white-haired Karens that are like, I've been in the business for 30 years. It's like, no, you've been in the business 1 year 30 times. And I see a lot of that. Mic drop. Yeah.
Wow,
That's
dude.
badass.
I see a lot of that. And, because I think about my own career, right? And like, maybe this is something that, I know we've talked about this, but this is something I encourage, like, not that you're unseasoned, but newer agents to think about, like, how many times have you truly evolved in your career? And I've technically been doing this now for like 23 years, and I can honestly say I've evolved 4 times in the last 20 years.
Twice.
Right. Right. So I mean, you're already like,
I haven't begun to peak.
I'm molting.
That's what I mean, like an evolution.
Twice.
Right.
Over the last 6.5 years.
Right. And so I just know agents that they're year one like 20 fucking times,
And I think this is one of the biggest selling points as to why I think being on a team as a newer agent, I think or even in general, I think is very, in my opinion, very good. If it's a good team, of course.
Sure.
The way that we structure our team meeting, it's only one time a week because I don't want to, which even then sometimes I think might be more than necessary. But the main thing that I believe is you learn by experience in this business.
Yeah.
When you forget to put the refrigerator on the non-realty or you don't include it and then it's fucking gone.
And you're buying
someone a fridge.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't check certain things, you don't know that it's a FERPTA situation where someone's a foreign national. Little things like that, where it would take me 100 years to experience all the things that could possibly happen. Because I bet people who've been an agent for 20 years still get new stuff from time to time.
Oh yeah,
which is things are happening all the time.
But it's super advantageous when you're brand new, or even for me, like I would consider myself a mid-experienced agent, like 6-7 years in the business, and like 30 to 50 deals every year. Like, so I've got good numbers on me, but I still come across new stuff. That team meeting, we go in a circle. Everyone talks maybe 2-3 minutes. Sometimes they go up to 10.
Tell your war stories.
And they do. We call it. Well, I lead the team meeting now, so I say, hey, April, wins and challenges for the week, and they're like, oh, I just hit a 7% commission and crosswinds and Kyle. What does that tell the other agent sitting on the table? Like, hey,
goddamn, I got to step it up.
I got to fucking go do one over there.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, my client just got a 3.875 fixed rate, 30 years over here. So it gives them good shouts for them to know what to do that's positive. And then for the challenges part, they're like, hey, no, I forgot the refrigerator and I'm so mad because I'm so sad because I have to go and buy a fridge, but I'm going to do it because that's the right thing to do. Right. So then another agent sitting right next to them, do you think they're going to be far less likely to make that same mistake because they just saw someone else? You're smart if you learn from your mistakes,
right.
but
it's
you're
top
even
of mind now too.
You're even more smart if you're even more intelligent. You learn the mistakes of other people. So it's an experience booster times like 10.
This is why
these agents.
That's why you read biographies. You got to learn from the greats. But
Yep.
I was telling someone last week, my first brokerage where I was an intern, it was a commercial real estate brokerage in Baton Rouge. The thing that I really miss about there was that we would have a weekly Friday sales meeting, which basically it was just like the office manager would print out a sheet of every transaction that's happened in the last week or new listing or something like that. And each person would just go around the room just telling them what happened. And because it was commercial real estate, sometimes it was more interesting because it was like, oh, well, this new, store is coming to this shopping center. Oh, that's cool. But also it's just a chance to gloat and a chance to ask for help, where it's needed. And I really miss having that.
I just got a call. I could see on my Apple Watch, one of my agents was calling, and they'll ask me about,
Oh, you should have answered it. Did it live?
It's like 7 o'clock. I'll text her after. But yeah, I think being in that, I really like that format of wins and challenges, and I think it's a very productive, quick, because you're not asked, there's no minimum quote of how long they need to talk. Sometimes they've said like, hey, I was out of town all week. That was a big win. And they also get to share personal stuff like, oh, I had my son's birthday, and that helps me kind of keep a relationship.
What day of the week is the meeting?
Monday.
Oof. Okay.
Monday morning, 10 a.m. to noon.
Donuts.
No, come. Dude, we have lenders, inspectors,
Well, someone's got to come in and tell you guys about all the new condo changes.
New sales reps. I do a lot of the education stuff where I'll go over the new contract, and I'm real technical.
You are hip to the condo change, right?
What specifically? What was the change?
So limited reviews are basically done now if you have condominium complexes that are over 11 units, meaning that. So from a lending standpoint, warrantable condos through Fannie and Freddie, a lot of times we could get limited reviews, meaning, depending on the condominium complex, depending on the down payment requirements and everything, we wouldn't need to know all of the things in regards to like reserves, minimum reserves for insurance and all of that. That's all gone if you have a condominium complex now above 11 units.
I sell a lot of those, so that's good to know.
It's going to kill a lot of deals for sure.
How does this?
So how does that affect? I've got a 16 unit one right now.
Yeah, so
And
it helps. It helps if you have a condominium complex that's under 11 units because now you still have a limited review opportunity. But here's what
so you can push it through without all that extra jazz.
correct. So here's what I've been seeing a lot of, right?
Fuck.
So the average consumer looks at a condominium and they say to themselves, "Oh, this is a good fit for me because it's less expensive. I don't want to deal with, the
Lock and
maintenance
leave.
that comes along with a single family residency." They think they've figured out some sort of hack or whatever, and then from there they find out, "Oh shit, this HOA is pretty high." Well, because of that, a lot of these condominium complexes are not meeting like their minimum reserve requirements or their insurance requirements because they know if they do that, the HOAs are going to raise. And of course, the people who live there don't want their HOA to increase. And then, it's going to help hurt for resale value because, yeah, okay, great. There's a $300,000 condominium.
Got a $600 a month.
Exactly. So it's like for that monthly payment, you could go buy a $600,000 home, right?
Yep.
So a lot of these condo regimes, they intentionally or unintentionally seem to not carry the reserves that are required by Fannie and Freddie. And a lot of them have been getting away with it because a lot of times, once again, depending on down payment requirements, whatnot, we don't require a full review on the condominium complex. But if it's over 11 units now, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you put down. Doesn't matter what your credit score is. We're going to need a full-blown rectal exam of that condominium complex now. And if they don't meet those insurance requirements, they're going to have to boost those insurance requirements just to let this home go through Fannie Mae, for example, or they're going to have to go non-warrantable. And if they go non-warrantable, they're putting down 10, sometimes even 20%, and they're taking an interest rate that's going to be anywhere between 0.5 to upwards of 1% higher than what Fannie or Freddie's going to require, which your buyer is going to be like, fuck that, right? They're not going to, and guess when you're going to figure this out?
After your option period.
After the option period.
Correct. So my whole thing is like, if you are a team lead or you want a lender to come in and really do like a full-blown presentation on this, reach out to me. But more importantly, I'm not a real estate agent. I always preface this, but if I was listing a condo, I think it would be best practices for you to pay the condominium complex for the condo questionnaire prior to listing that property and go through all of that information, cross-reference it. I mean, this is honestly something that would be easy enough to dump that condo questionnaire right into ChatGPT and say, does this meet Fannie and Freddie's minimum requirements? And
I'm a Claude guy.
Claude, fine, whatever, Grok, Gemini, whatever you're into. Put it into AI and make sure that it meets the requirements for Fannie and Freddie, because once again, what typically happens through the process is you go back and forth on negotiation, seller concessions, all of it, who's keeping the fridge and who's not. You get under contract, inspection happens, you go back and forth, everything. Finally, you guys are under contract, you're out of option, and the buyer goes and orders the condo questionnaire because we require it. And then we're maybe 7 to 10 days before closing, and we're like, we can't do this deal. And everyone's like, how the fuck are we just not figuring out about this? And of course, it's my fault, right? The lender. It's my fault that we just ordered this condo questionnaire.
Yep.
But I'm here to tell you, if I was the listing agent, I would tell my sellers, hey, there's been some changes with condominiums. And for the record, as a buyer's market, I think it would be a nice touch as the seller to say, hey, we already have done due diligence. We have a condo questionnaire. We just saved you $250. You don't have to pay for it. My seller did. And we can move past all of this a lot faster and close.
Yeah, I always try to get the subdivision information for a house when I show up to the listing appointment to say, hey, look, this is something that a buyer has a 21-day out of the contract on. We're going to provide it up front. We're going to save them a couple dollars, and then we're going to save you from having this 21-day out.
I just lost a deal about 3 months ago with Morgan Miller for this exact.
Shout out.
Yeah, we don't get me wrong. We found another place for the buyers, and we closed them, and they were very happy. But I was, this is kind of this is going to sound so corny and cliche, but it's one of my things as a lender. Like, I'm kind of doom and gloom in the beginning because I never want to be able to have to be kind of like you said about the fridge thing, right? I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't check that box. So on condos, I always instruct the real estate agent to make sure that they leave an out for that condo questionnaire because a lot of agents don't. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, when we got all of the information, they were not carrying the correct insurance requirements. The client was a first-time home buyer and wanted to only put down 3%. And because the insurance requirements weren't met, I said the only way you can buy this condominium is you have to put down 10%. And they said, we don't want to do that. And we were able to get them out of it with, all of their earnest money and everything, because we left it in there that the purchase was contingent upon the condo questionnaire going through Fannie and Freddie. And if if I wouldn't have been such a, Nazi about that, or whatever you want to call it.
Whoa.
If I wouldn't have been so strict.
A negative Nancy out the gate.
Whatever you want to call it.
No, but that's what comes with experience. And, like I said, once an agent gets burnt with that, they kind of learn their lesson. But if you have trusted partners as a lender, as a title company, they can advise you as to, how to steer the ship.
Well, look out for those condos, because it's the new thing now.
I was going to have to sell 16 units right in Windsor Park, but I just got an offer actually today someone wants to buy the whole thing.
There you go. Well,
so I was like, fuck it, cash too. So now I'm kind of in the mix. Seeing that.
How did they come up with their price?
It's a long story. My client originally, developer, he bought it. It was an apartment complex. He condo converted it. 16 units, individually platted, 16 units across 5 buildings, 4plexes and duplexes. And I don't know, he just went underwater. He overpaid for it. He bought it in 2022, I think. The 5-year maturity on it was coming up. He was just not going to be able to do anything about it. The bank took it back. He owed him $3.2 million. I listed it. I had it listed with him for 3.2. Nothing. The bank allowed me to stay as the listing agent afterward. At 3.2, nothing. At 3, nothing. At 2.8 is where we have this offer right now, which is a 5.5 cap, which is right in the market band that is appropriate. So, and I do some commercial stuff, so I kind of move in that. I feel like if you told cap rate to like 95% of the realtors, they wouldn't know what that is, but.
I love cap rates.
Yeah, no, you'd worked in that.
But I don't like commercial contracts and shit.
Yeah, so 5.5 cap, but and again, my Excel freak status, I've got like a data room link that I put together that's got the trailing 12, all the OpEx expenses, and we don't pro forma it with like shitty, unrealistic market rents. It's what's really in place and all that. So frankly, they're probably even higher than where. Like the cap would be better, but yeah, they have it currently at 2.8. They only want to put down like $5K of earnest money, which I'm countering with them right now because that's not.
Yeah, that's not
5K on 2.8 million, and then they want to put another 25K when their 30-day due diligence is up. But we need more skin up front.
Yeah, you need 28K right now.
Yeah. And, but yeah, that's one commercial one. I actually did another one last month. Biggest deal I've ever done. And it was a commercial one.
Nice.
It was
take to close.
Like 6 months.
That's not bad.
6 or 7 months.
That's why I don't want to be in commercial.
That's
6 or 7 months, but it was $4 million or $3.8 million bucks.
Attaboy.
And it took me, the lead cycle on that was close to 3 years.
Yeah, there it is.
Get this, you never know where the big fish are going to come from. Mm-hmm. I signed this kid's apartment at UT, $1,200, shitty little rental. I was already out of school, so like I had already kind of, I didn't pull the plug on the campus leasing. I kind of tapered it off. So I was in that tapering phase. I was being more selective about if I was going to take it on or not. And this guy, he just seemed kind of cool. So I was like, you know what, Thomas? Yeah, I'll help you. Because people would text and call me like, hey, can you help me get a West Campus lease? Whatever. So I took him on. I signed his little lease. And then the next year, I signed his lease again. And then his mom was like, hey, we're from South Carolina. I want to buy a condo so I can get in-state tuition through establishing Texas residency. Right. And I told her, like, hey, like, your son, Thomas, is a junior now. There's really no point, respectfully, because it takes 12 months to kick in. So he's only going to have it maybe his spring semester of his senior year, maybe the full senior year. If he was an incoming freshman, it would have made a whole lot more sense to do that because the tuition difference is like $45K for out of state versus like $12 for in state. So that $35,000, that $3K a month, annual, like it boosts every investment metric through the ceiling on these condos. So I told her, I kind of negged her and was like, I don't think we should do that. And I think she appreciated the honesty with it. And it kind of just died down. And then a couple months pass, maybe a year ago, Thomas texts me and he's like, hey man, I'm a senior. Like, I don't need an apartment, but I'm actually the president of the Texas Beta frat. And we don't have a house and we want to buy a house. And I was like, no fucking way. Like, what? I was thinking in my head, like, man, they of course have a realtor alumni or like a commercial real estate broker. But I guess through the good faith of me being his guy and me consistently being like involved with him and his family and all that. So we went frat house shopping.
That's amazing, dude. That's great.
And it was we landed on the one. It was 2404 Rio Grande, 24th in Rio. West Campus runs from 21st to 28th. 24th Street's right in the middle. And it runs from Lamar to Guad. Rio is right in the middle. So it's smack dab in the middle of West Campus. It's surrounded by 300-foot towers, high rises, upzoned all the way. So they found that it was listed for $4.5 million. And I was like, I don't even know how to comp it because the buildings next door are worth like 50 million plus probably, like the big 500 unit towers. Like, I don't know. But it was 4.5. I just kind of was, we were in the middle of like coming up with a number to throw at him. It was going to be an all cash deal from Thomas's dad because he just got it like that, I guess. He was going to 1031 exchange it from something in South Carolina over here.
And then rent it to the fraternity. That's pretty sweet.
And then rent it to the frat.
That's amazing.
But then I'm in touch with the listing agent. These guys honestly are not that pleasant to deal with. Old white commercial realtor guy, and then me trying to talk to him. They just saw I'm sure they saw my like email signature line. I thought I was like an unexperienced, like wet behind the ears jit. And I was like, okay, well, I guess in this space, kind of. But I don't know. I kind of was just, I kind of was trying to talk to the guy. His name was Marshall. And he texted me back like, oh, it's under contract with someone else. Sorry, period. And I was like damn, like we lost the one. And it was kind of a blindsiding. Someone else got it. So I didn't know what to tell Thomas and the beta guys. I was like, so, I mean, it's under contract with someone else. So they're like, oh, let's look at some other options. But nothing came close to the one. They were either in North Campus, north of 28th. Pricing is a lot better over there. The problem is, as stupid as it sounds, the members are not going to want to go to North Campus to go walk over there.
Location, yeah.
The girls are not going to want to go to the party in North Campus and walk all the way over there. And, just a couple blocks makes a huge difference in the general appeal of that. Location matters in real estate, but in West Campus, it really matters.
Right.
So it was, so it just didn't hit right. And after a couple months, they were just it was losing steam. I was so excited about getting my first, I'd sold $1 million houses before, but like under 1.5, a couple of them. But this was 3 times bigger. So I was like foaming at the mouth at the opportunity to swing at something so large. And I get a message from the listing agent like, hey, it fell through. And it was actually the guys that own Cain and Abel's had put it under contract because you guys do know the bar, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the student legendary bar.
Yeah.
It closed actually right after I left, so I was pretty glad I never had to see like the shitty new one they put up. Abel's Dos. That place was like
much better.
Yeah, the classic one was like people's parents had gone to UT and like been in that same bar. There were like photos from the 70s. It was wood paneling on the walls. It was the spot. So they tore it down. They put a 300-foot mega tower on it, and people were pissed off. So they opened one down the street, but it just wasn't hitting the same because it was all contemporary and just wasn't equivalent. So I guess they were trying to buy this property, the 24th and Rio house, because it was a historically designated property. It had the wood everywhere. It was a historic building. And it fell through because the city didn't give them the liquor license.
Gotcha.
After trying. And there's actually another historic house just down the street that has a liquor license. So I don't know how they didn't get it, but that the city, sticking it to them kind of gave me a second wind.
Oh, that's a great
And
story.
I was like, hell yeah. So we went back in. We negotiated again. I got it for $375. And I was like, to be honest with you, I'm very happy it closed and everything went well, but that was kind of beyond my scope at the time. It was definitely
over your skis.
It was a stretch on the skis for sure, because it was a historic property. It was split zoned. It was multifamily in the back of the lot, like the back half of the lot. General office on the front. It was in the Uno overlay in the West Campus area, so the zoning is all different. There were 5 sellers. They inherited it. They were hard to deal with, but very good in the end. It was going to be no longer a cash deal. It was going to be a seller finance.
Oh.
And then the National Frat Board was going to buy the house.
Oh.
And the down payment that was going to supplement that the first lien between the seller and the frat was going to come from Thomas's family. So the frat was going to be in like almost no money. The down payment was $750,000. So still like that was a second lien. So it was like double. It was like a second lien on the seller finance. And I studied that at UT. I was a commercial real estate finance as my minor, apart from the engineer. So I felt comfortable in theory.
Yeah.
But now I was like in the middle of the fucking tornado.
With real money.
And there was lawyers from South Carolina, where they're from, lawyers here. Man, it was just like
an intimidating crowd.
It was just like a holy shit kind of transaction. And the last few days of the deal, there was so much back and forth, and like all the loan documents, the promissory note, the deeds of trust, all that was drafted, and they were getting redlined back and forth between like 3 different people. And I'm like at the World Cup watching Portugal, Spain, like off a couple beers, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't have service, but like this deal is my like it was, and I had 3%.
6-figure commission.
I had a 3% on it, so I'm like, dude, my $118K is on the line.
Right.
Oh my God. And man, it was stressful, but it was one of those moments where you just kind of like, not close your eyes, but just, I did everything that I could. I talked to my mentor people that I knew were in commercial.
Right.
I buttoned up everything I could. And at the end, it wasn't completely in my hands because there were attorneys, and one of the sellers was an attorney, and she had her own opinions about everything. But in the end, it closed, funded, and wow, I have that check in my room, like with like a thumbtack in front of my office, because my room is my office.
Sure.
I house hack my home, so I only have like that one bedroom. And yeah, that check.
Time to level up.
I'm kind of
feel when you got that email from Tidal saying
it felt
funded.
Dude, it felt crazy. I didn't want to believe it. I kept thinking something's gonna happen. I'm generally confident, but it's different when it's like,
what kind of closing gift did you give Thomas's dad?
Dude, the day of the closing, I didn't even. It was like a quick in and out, and there was like 4 people there. I didn't get them anything, but they're gonna come. They were gonna go travel and come back. There's gonna be a golf. They're really into golf, so I want to take him like a golf event, and I know that he's gonna be in town in the next couple of months, so I'm gonna do that. But
nice.
I can't get him like a Roomba, or like a.
Right.
They don't. I don't know. It was the last thing on my mind, to be honest with you.
What do you get a guy that can buy a frat house?
Exactly, something in experience, like
sorority girls.
some sorority girls. No, Mrs. Oppold, I'm sorry, but but
Mr. Epstein, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that was definitely a crazy deal that I had, and just when that one passed, and now I have this new commercial listing that I'm about to move, and I'm like, wow, like when it rains, it pours, man. It just kind of came on, and that was definitely the most unique. Like crazy, like I was going to the city DSD office, like Development Services Department, I think, by St. John's. They have that office, and I would go there and sit with like the city zoning manager, and I would just try to like figure out, is a frat house a permitted use? Like, what is it considered? Is it group residential? Is it this other thing? And then I don't want to tell them too much because maybe if it's not approved, like we can go around. So like we don't want to ring any, any false alarms with the city. Maybe the conditional use permit or like the zoning verification letter. All that was like kind of foreign to me, and I was like damn, I'm kind of driving the boat, and I like don't even know what water I'm in right now. But we figured it out, and it worked out. And
to your point, though, I think that all these transactions have different nuances, and so going back to what we talked about earlier, where even if you had tons of experience with commercial real estate, I don't think this is something that is normal, even if it is in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'd done commercial stuff before, like buying a normal. I mean, like selling like a fourplex is kind of like it has the same makings of a commercial deal as selling a 20 unit, just like
I'm closing one Friday.
Smaller. I mean, the loan is the only main difference because it's a residential.
Done a fourplex in years. I mean, it has been years, and we just got the clear to close on it today, and it's. I wish it was a
owner occupied or like
$7.5 million. It is owner occupied. I wish it was a larger commission, but there's just so much extra bullshit that goes along with.
Are the other 3 units rented and there's one vacant?
Correct.
What kind of cut do you take on the? Because you use the income from the other 3 to help qualify them, right? 75%? Or?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately what we ended up doing on this particular one was like 2 of them are rented, so we can actually we can use 75% there, and then 2 of them are vacant. And then we just, when the appraiser goes out there, we do a rent schedule to show exactly what that property will rent for. And then, the individual who's moving in is obviously going to cover that unit. But to your point, like, it's the same thing. It's just, just more units. But this one in particular is going through Fannie because it's 4 units.
Yep.
All right, so traveling through more of Eduardo's career. So
the frat houses.
Okay, so
dude, that story.
That was last month, bro.
What's great is you're gonna get to use that clip, and you'll be able to send that clip to people. Be like, I don't want to tell this 20-minute story, but if you want to learn more,
that's a great story.
Yeah, it was so many ups and downs, and in the end, it was the biggest deal. Hopefully not the biggest I'll ever do, but like, damn, it's gonna have to be a fucking mansion to beat that.
Well,
like,
and it's awesome that you're honest about it. I mean, a lot of people that close transactions like that act like they do it every day. It's so annoying.
No, that was overwhelming.
I'm serious. I was like so fucking.
That was
another day in the office.
That was overwhelming to the max, bro. To the max, and it was a humbling experience because I feel super confident and competent in residential transactions of any kind. Like I rep multiple landlords every month, multiple tenants every month, condo, house, apartment lease, new construction purchase, new construction sales for the builder, luxury resale, luxury buyer. Like I kind of I haven't done all the types of deals, but I felt pretty comfortable in my bag in the residential world. And this was like a complete, like, oh my God.
Well, and you did all of that with the possibility that you would get literally nothing.
And I spent 6 months constantly not stressing about it.
That's some education right there.
I learned more in that 6 month period than I think I did in my commercial real estate classes at UT, for sure. Because I had to like read how all that worked and know about the setback lines which I know because I build houses. I like fill up houses too, but
I just think it's
different ball game.
I just know a ton of agents that would have scrapped that, way earlier.
Different ball game.
Definitely, would have been like, this is a waste of my time, or this is too much work, or this is never going to come to fruition. And to your point, I mean, you said it yourself. Like there was a possibility that it might not have closed, and then you spent 6 months and all of that, and you got an education, but you financially benefited nothing if it didn't close.
Yeah, the feeling of loss hits twice as hard as the feeling of gain. So had that deal fallen through,
dude, I wouldn't need that rope. But I would have been, God damn,
different rope.
Dude, I couldn't even enjoy the World Cup. I was thinking like, fuck, is it gonna fall through? Is it gonna fall through?
Well, soccer's boring anyway.
But yeah, that was the latest episode of my career, I guess. Like you said, when have I evolved?
Yeah, right.
I think when I.
For sure.
I think when I got out of the apartment life and moved into the more residential, just kind of like felt like that was the first time I was really being a normal realtor. And I didn't jump into new construction. New construction is not being a realtor. You don't do anything. You just walk in and Apartment.
That's an apartment locator.
It's an apartment locator, and like I constantly at my brokerage come across like an agent will have a deal, and I know that that person's been selling houses because I see at their closing. But then they'll call me and they're like, "Here's my first resale," and I'm like, "Oh boy!" Like they don't know anything.
I know so many agents
at all
who started in 2021 and only did new build for like 2 years,
and they're making so much money, but they don't know shit.
So much money to stretch. But yeah, I mean,
some of them do
deals. Yeah. So once you started at ROA, that's where we are in your timeline. When did you decide, hey, I want to start a team? Because now you have 11 other agents, judging by the picture I saw online.
There's 9 agents and me and the other team lead. Yeah.
And also, whatever happened to all the other teammates from your apartment locating team?
They were all college students, and I kind of just told them like, hey, after this semester, we're just gonna kind of like dissolve. I even thought about trying to package that brand and like sell it to the competitor that was, because there was one competitor in the West Campus area that honestly probably now they completely dominate the market. They're called Housing Scout.
Yeah, I've seen their stuff.
I have a whole other drama with them, but it's back in the day, I worked for them my first week with my license. But then I realized what apartment locating was like, and I kind of just decided to leave and join Dash and do my own thing. And they didn't like it very much. And I talked to the guy that was running Housing Scout, and he was like, yeah, go, you have my blessing. It's all good. As long as you don't join these 3 companies or 4, which are the other campus area ones, all the property manager, Tower Realty. I don't know if you guys know there's like 3 or 4 players, but I was like, no, I'm not going to any of those. I'm going to this guy. His name is Muhammad Ali Tukti. He's the broker for Dash, and he's in like fucking North Austin, completely non-student housing, completely separate. And he's like, no, yeah, go ahead, go. So then I went and I was doing my own thing. I got the team going. I worked for like a whole year. I was closing left and right. I even leased one of their listings for them. I brought the tenants. It was a group of frat kids, 7-bedroom house that I leased for them. Then
I had one of those listings last year, a 7-bedroom house on West Campus.
Yeah.
That was an awful property to lease.
Yeah. I did it for him though. I found him a tenant, and then I got a letter. I remember I got an email and then also a letter in the mail. I was 20, I think, and I get a letter that's cease and desist for non-compete, violation of a non-compete. And I was like, dude, like I was like 18. I signed that thing without even looking at it because I didn't know. I was like, I'm so excited to be a realtor. And I looked at it, and it was, I like talked to a lawyer buddy, and it was like, you can't do the same kind of role or close to the same kind of role in property management, in leasing, in advising of any kind, in staffing for any apartment company in all of Travis County for 2 years.
Jeez.
And I was like, the lawyer was like, honestly, this is like probably not enforceable because of how encompassing it is. Like, you're a student, you can't leave Travis County.
Right.
2 years is going to completely clip your legs for being your useful life as a student apartment locator. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's too encompassing. But what got me out in the end, and I wiped my ass with that lawsuit in the end, was I told the lawyer that I talked to, like, hey, I leased one of their properties, so how are they going to sue me for practicing when they profited off of the services that I was doing? Mm. It's like, how are you going to sue me for practicing real estate when just like 2 months ago you profited off of me practicing real estate?
Right.
So I called their attorney, and I was like, you do know that I leased this property they had listed, right? And he was like, I did not know that. We'll basically like we'll send you like a written thing that you're completely clear from the whole contract.
Wow.
So I got sued, and I beat the case.
Nice.
That was my first drama back in the day, and I don't even know how do we get back into that.
So we disbanded the team.
Yeah.
The team. So it just
is
dissolved.
Are you in communication with any of those people that worked under you? Do you know any of them? Have any remained in real estate?
One of them just got her license. I'm gonna try to bring her over to ROA, and then another one, I saw her at Latchkey this past weekend, the bar on East 6th. It was kind of crazy. Well, I didn't see her. I was talking to her friend, and then her friend was like, talking to that girl, Layla, like, hey, no, like I was just talking to this guy and showed her the photo.
Yeah.
And she was like, shut up. That was my boss, like when I was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know. I got good brownie points with the girl because I was like, oh.
Good boss points.
Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, no, I don't keep up with them. I should probably try to recruit them, but
I mean, they might
I kinda-
have other careers now.
I'm sure they do.
It's just crazy they went through that effort of getting their license that you sponsored, and then you're just like, disband the team. But you were on to bigger and better things. So let's talk about the new team.
The new team.
What made you want to start this? Was this also an overflow of business?
When I joined ROA, I was one of the first 20 agents that joined because Victor Nino was a founding partner
I know.
for
the
Texas.
Red Ferrari.
The red Ferrari. So
Was it leased or owned? That's my.
he definitely owns it.
Does he still have it? I haven't.
I
Seen
think
a
he got
video.
rid of it because it's too flashy and like non-utilitarian.
I could have told him the same thing.
And he lives in Treviso, so I'm like, dude, you're gonna ding the crap out of it trying to move it anywhere.
Yeah.
So much topography, but no, I was working under his team. Honestly, that guy's got every script and response and objection handling in the book. Literally knows it stone cold. So that gave me a lot of training and confidence in the sales world that I only had in the apartment locating world. I had all that stuff down, but the objections you handle with like a 19-year-old college girl are very different than, like I have, like, my aging parent or my aging mother, and then I have I'm getting divorced, this, all stuff that like I organically had not experienced in my life. So I kind of needed.
Sure.
It was very helpful to have that kind of dialogue and script, and the wins and challenges kind of set up was how he had his meetings organized, and I took that, and now I do the same thing. But I was with him for a year, a little bit over a year. That's where I met my buddy Juan Sanchez. He's one of those rare examples of like a young agent that has only been in the business for like 2 years, but he closes like 30, 40 homes a year.
Nice.
And he's a beast, So I would argue he's probably more experienced than like some agents that have been doing it for 10 years.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
so
he's got the reps.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of reps. And so I met him there. Bustamante was on that team. I think he still is. So I was there. I kind of got a good sense. I graduated into like the residential sales world more properly. And then I decided to leave the team. I just felt like it was my time. I don't know. The constant commission hits, splits that were getting taken out. I deal with a very different niche than like what the team kind of does. They do a lot of like Hispanic first-time home buyer. They kind of just spam that market, and I do it too. The Nino team.
Got it.
They do 200 plus sales a year, and I bet 80% of them are new construction, Latino client. And I'm like, okay, well, my buddy Juan, that's 95% of his business. He's Colombian, born and raised. So like he I don't know, he's a magnet for that client, and he's real good at closing them. He knows what kind of loans for what kind of immigration status. If they have everything from like easy ones, non-QM, he knows fucking front and back. He'll get it done.
I-10, all that
I-10,
stuff.
all that. So it was like, okay, you're going to handle those. But most of my clients are like sophisticated investors that are going to give me a 16 unit to sell, or the frat house, or I have a fourplex on Annie in 04 right now that's like 3.75. A lot of my buddies are renting downtown apartments. No one on that team touches the downtown area. So I was like, you know what? I'm not really getting a direct benefit, and I think that my percentage would be better serving me elsewhere.
How long ago was this?
About a year.
Okay.
So I was there for a year. I earned my stripes in my own way. I left, and I was alone for like 6 months. Not alone. It was me and Juan. We have a very weird business relationship where we work every client together. Anytime, like if you hit me up, you want to buy a house, I'll tell you like, okay, here's my Calendly link. Let's do a consultation. Juan will be in that call with me. It does a number of things. It allows us to stay on the ball more in case I'm sick, out of town, busy, hungover, tired. Real shit happens. I want to go turn off the phone at 6. I want to go with spend time with my mom. Like, I don't want my client, if some emergency comes up, maybe assistants can do that too. But I had him, to back me up, and I back him up. If something happens to go wrong, like the mom and dad trick of like, oh, talk to your mom, I'm going to talk, we can kind of like split that up. Yep. And it just has a lot of pros. And we really should write down what our business agreement is, but we kind of, even sometimes he'll just be in the initial call and not do anything. And I'll throw him like 10% of the deal, and then he'll do the same for me on another deal. So like, I never have months where I'm slow, just because I know that, and every quarter-ish, we kind of take a tally and be like, okay, well, I gave you like an extra $5,000 this quarter than you gave me. Mm-hmm. So we'll adjust the next transactions to, I won't give him any and I'll keep it,
Do y'all make a new partnership split on every transaction?
Yeah. Well, it's whoever the lead agent is, kind of just, I have a team of Filipino admins that does all this like invoicing, and they do the back end stuff with ROA. So they'll ask us like, oh, what's the commission split on 123 Any Street, sir? Mm-hmm. And if it was if Juan was the primary link to the client, I have enough trust and respect for him that I know he'll just say whatever he thinks I deserved on that deal. If I didn't do shit, he'll still give me 10% or 20%. And sometimes we'll go 50-50. Typically 70-30 is the most common kind of split. And then we tally up every quarter, and then we're like, oh, we're pretty even, or like, hey, he was paying me a lot when I knew the frat house was coming up, because I was like, hey, you're gonna get a nice fat check from this.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So
part of that.
I gave him 20% of that, and he didn't really do much of it, but we already had pre-weighted it to, it was 20-something thousand. So sure. I knew he was kind of preemptively overpaying me to kind of keep the balance. Yep. But yeah, I think I'm very lucky in having a very trustworthy business partner that I'm very good friends with, and like, we're very transparent and honest. With the team, that we kind of formalized our relationship. Like, we were working together for those 6 months after we left. We left together. We had met at the team. And we landed the Georgetown Saratoga project. We landed the 16 unit, and we were just, we had another 10 listings, and I just we'd been flirting with the idea of a team. People at ROA love us, to be honest. We're like the two young guns that are like the highest producers. So they were like, you guys should start a team. ROA has pretty strict requirements around being able to have a team. We were both finally able to meet them. You have to have 10 million in production each, team lead. So it was either like I was going to do it or he, but we eventually just waited till we both got it, trailing 12 months. So it's hard it's like a very, very small fraction of agents that can possibly hit that, barring like super luxury sellers, selling agents. So we finally got it. We formed a team. And that was kind of like, honestly, I always trusted him, but I felt very much at ease knowing that we kind of formalized our relationship on paper, formed an LLC for the team. We have like a joint bank account for the team where we get paid through. We have we share all the expenses. We share the burden or responsibility rather of getting back to the agents if they have a question or a doubt. Him and I make decisions. None of them are unilateral. We always agree on, we got a new listing. Who should we put on it? We have conversations behind the scene of, oh, that one's close to Yasmina's house, but maybe Carmen's better because it's a lease and she knows how to do that stuff more, or she doesn't speak Spanish, so don't put her on that one. We have like those behind closed doors meetings, and it's been a great experience so far, and it's a big learning experience for me, but I'm very content with the role as the team lead, beyond the money aspect of it.
So what's the next step? Starting the brokerage, or are you happy with what ROA provides?
I thought long and hard about being a broker. Yeah. Because I have the 4 years and the transaction experience and all that, but like, as do you. But are you a broker?
No, but I don't want to.
Exactly. I don't want to be a broker.
All
Fuck
City
no.
takes nothing of my checks, and like, why would I want that legal responsibility?
That's exactly my position. I don't see the.
Well, my only reason would be to be able to hire people. I mean, if I were in your position where I could already hire 11 people.
I think I heard a broker tell me, if you're a broker, you just end up broker. And
Hence the name, yeah.
And I think it's true. And I think the only way to really have a successful brokerage is you either keep a very lean, tiny team, and they're all super heavy hitters and they're very loyal to you. Some Jason Oppenheimer, Selling Sunset type beat.
I love the show, yeah.
or you go massive brokerage because it's all about the break-even point.
Right.
If you have, software seats scale with the number of agents and the cost scales, brick and mortar expenses scale. You guys know all that. So it was like, I've thought about that a lot, and I don't want none of that interests me. Like back end paperwork, errors and omissions, insurances, and I like ROA just because it's a $14,000 cap on the year, 85.15 until I hit that. Which works out to be around $3 million in volume if you're hitting 3% commissions. Sure. Like 93 GCI, 15%, 14K. That for me is well worth the expense of covering my ass legally and giving me all the tech and SkySlope and the back end stuff and invoicing, and I don't have to do any of that, and that to me is a well worth cost that I cover in the first quarter of most years anyway. So like I don't really care. And also the whole revenue share thing is cool, but it's the main thing I don't want to do is pick up all that other responsibility and remove myself from being able to be maximally productive at what I'm really good at, which is producing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I don't know what's next, but it's definitely not
I always
being a broker.
For myself, if there's two things I don't want, it's to be a manager and to be managed. I mean, I have one assistant, and Matt hears me complain about him every single day.
How did you do that? So, how did you get an assist? Because I've thought long and hard about that, man. How did you hire one?
We'll go down that route off air just in case I have some things I got to record. Where's I going with this? We'll flop subjects here. To the house flipping, because this is something that I want to discuss for myself as well. So it seems like the next phase for any investor-minded agent that, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. So where did you start with the first one? How many have you done? Where are we at now?
My flipping journey began since I was a youth.
Oh. Without really knowing it. Mine did too, so I'm excited to hear your side.
My parents are... they're from El Paso, where I'm from, and there was a realtor in their life that after they bought their primary they had bought in the starter home, a new construction, and then they wanted to buy this other bigger house later down after some years. So they bought that one and they started renting.
You're good. Keep talking.
They started renting that front house or that first house. And that's kind of like how they got a taste of real estate investing. And then I guess that realtor just put them on how to do, more investment focused moves. So he got them like their first flip. And I remember I was maybe like 10 years old and I'd be painting baseboards, and they were just trying to squeeze every dollar out of it by doing a lot of it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. I didn't even think about it until like recently. I was just thinking like, when did I start? And man, I was painting doors. Like on the weekend, I'd go do yard work at one of the flips, all free, of course. So that was where I started. And then we've always had like a hint of that in the family since. But personally, I think I started doing it by repping investors because I didn't have the capital to do it myself. And I definitely do have more investment knowledge than the average realtor does, as do you, as a real estate agent. And I studied it in college, so I felt comfortable with it. I like construction. In some ways, it almost made me feel like I was using my engineering and finance degrees because I was using them in some capacity. And that was an identity thing. I always felt like, man, I fucking wasted 4 years doing that. And like, I don't even use it, and like you don't even need a high school diploma to be a realtor. Yeah, or no? Yeah, I was like, that's the only requirement in the test. Like, I don't know. I kind of had this pride and ego thing of like, fuck, like before I was making enough money to really say with my chest, somebody would ask me what I do, and I would just be like, oh, like real estate advisor. I'd make, I didn't feel proud of it, and I felt this was a way for me to kind of utilize my skill set and feel like I was really fulfilled in producing at my maximal capacity. And so I started. It was actually on my street. There was a house that was super old, shitty, and I saw it was for sale, super low price, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna like pull some money with my family and try to buy it and fix it. But looking back, I didn't even have the money to really do it right, and I offered on it. I didn't get it. Someone else bought it, and I was like, I remember every day I would drive by, and I'd see that house, and I'd see the contractor's truck there, and I'd see them doing work, demoing it out, having people go in and out. And it was just a sore reminder of how I didn't get the deal. Until I think I had a beer or two at Easy Tiger one day, and I was working, and I don't know, maybe AC/DC was playing, and I was just feeling fucking pumped.
I just saw them live.
I was feeling fucking pumped, and
I would love to discuss that concert, but
I was feeling fucking pumped, and I just decided, you know what? I had enough of seeing this house getting brought back to life.
Burn it down.
Without me going in there, at least having the balls to go in there and talk to the owner and see if he has someone that's going to sell it for him when he's done. And I thought about that for so long. Like, I want to go in there. I'm going to go knock. Like, I know what he looks like because I see him every fucking day. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. So then I went in there. It's kind of awkward. I kind of just like didn't want to sneak up on him. So I kind of, so I was like, oh, I'm here. I kind of like slipped my way in the door, and I was like, hello, is anybody there? And he was like, super nice dude. And he like, middle-aged dude. And he was just like, hello. And I told him like, hey, my name's Eduardo. Like I'm your neighbor, by the way. Like I live down the street. I'm a real estate agent. And I was wondering what you're planning on doing with the house when you're done. Like, are you going to be living in it or are you flipping it? And he just told me like, yeah, like I'm trying to flip it. But then I told him, we started talking. He's like, you want a tour? And I was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. So I took a full tour. It wasn't even close to done, but I got a full tour in. I was trying to ask him all the right questions. What did you pick it up for? I was actually offering on it. I cracked a couple jokes about how he beat me to the punch and built some rapport with him. I was trying to demonstrate my competence through asking him about like what his hard money loan terms look like, what his exit strategy was, what his projected ARV was going to be, what his draw schedule was looking like. And he was kind of like, wow, like I don't think he expected it. So he said, like, here's my number. I got the realtor that helped me pick it up has kind of like stopped talking to me a lot. And she hasn't really talked to me about she kind of just got her check and ran away with it.
She didn't have any confidence that he would actually make money on the sale.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So, and I told him, let's go to Easy Tiger, which is like, I work there a lot because I live by one. So I met him there. I had a drink with him. We talked for like an hour or two. I gave him a full presentation of what I could do for him. And then I told him, I live in the neighborhood. Like I know that thing front and back. So he was like, you know what? You're going to be my agent when I finish renovating it. Nice. And that's how I got my first investor. Just asked for it. And that was my first $1 million sale, dude. It was a huge house in Windsor Park. And I sold it for $975. It was listed for $1 million. Close enough.
Yeah. I'll give it to you.
And I was like, wow, man, like it was that easy. I did 3 other houses with that guy over the past, I don't know, 2-3 years. But that's how I started, reps wise with the flipping. Seeing other people do it with their money, I would take a much more active role than most. I don't know how much, like, do you rep investors or you just do yourself?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how active of a role you take, but like, I'm almost like a pseudo GC.
I did junk removal.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna be ripping carpet out of this.
I'm like a GC, dude. I'm like, I'm out there getting them contractor recommendations, cutting the grass. I painted the fence at one of them
Cutting grass is my specialty.
I painted the fence with I have a compressor in my house that I use to power wash. So I power washed the driveway. I did I bought paint and I painted it. So yeah, I'm very much a GC for them. But I did my first one. I think the condo that I did was one of the first ones. The one I did in Windsor Park that I'm about to finish up, that was my first one ever. Dude, that one was just a nightmare. That was had so many structural issues, city permitting problems. I've had that one for 11 months, and I'm finishing it this week, finally. But it's still gonna make so much. It's gonna make so much money still.
As in, done with construction, or stage photos ready for
done with the building. It's gonna sell quick. I can give it it's the only house like it. Honestly, if I needed to move in it and just rent my house, I could do that and cash flow my house. So I feel comfortable. I don't have there's no situation where I'm not over leveraged. There's nothing that can happen, God forbid, but that would really put me in a bad spot. But that one should clear a 6-figure profit on it easy. Oh, wow. And that's why I'm not even mad it took a year. And because it took longer than a year, I'm going to 1031 exchange it. You're not supposed to do that on flips. But if you can, I tried to rent it IRS for a year. Then you can claim,
put it on Zillow for rent.
You can claim that it wasn't an inventory or dealership kind of sale, which is what they get mad about. Yeah, and then the CPA and everything is on board, and the QI for the 1031. But that one, and then I told you about the condo I did.
Yeah. I watched a condo happen
105
in real time on the Instagram stories.
105K I bought that one for. I put in 20, and it closes next week.
Oh, so it hasn't closed yet?
No, closes. It was a 50-day contract.
My flip is supposed to close next week, and I've been on pins and needles for the last 2 weeks on the stupid appraisal.
Yeah.
But VA.
Fuck the VA. Screw you.
Yeah, but honestly, the condos, a lot of flippers
to buy houses, make it easier for them.
A lot of flippers are afraid of the condos because they're hard to move sometimes.
Yeah.
The resale.
I would actually be really worried about flipping a 1-bedroom condo. I don't think I'd even try.
It's a 2-bedroom.
Oh, it is.
Well, yep, 190.
It looked like a 1-bedroom to me.
I couldn't sell it. I flipped it in 20 days. The construction. New floor, new paint, patched some drywall, new shower, tile, tub, everything. I was just in and out. I was on the market for 2 months and I didn't get. Oh, I got an offer in 3 days, 190K, and I was like, oh, we're eating good. First time home buyer. They got during the option period. They were like, there's just a lot of small ticket items, and he just got cold feet, and they backed out and lost $500. And I was like, oh my God, dude! I was so close to, we're gonna make so much money on this flip. I was on top of the world,
of loss
and I was like, harder. No. So then I was like, okay, let's put it back on the market. Dude, I dragged that listing down to 160, and I was just getting a few showings here and there. There were other units available in the condo complex. I was just like, damn it, did I mess up? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it for rent and DSCR it and get out of this fucking hard money loan. So I put it for rent. In 2 days, I got $1,650 rent, which is pretty good on a $190,000 condo. $1,650 rent, which is top of the building. 820 credit score, single female tenant, no pets, professional degree, and she signed a 2-year lease. So I was like, oh wow, this is literally the ideal tenant. She's been great. Laura, by the way, if you're watching.
Thanks, Laura.
She's been great. So I was like, okay, yeah, that worked out great. So now that we had a tenant, Juan was like, hey, I've got this Colombian guy that wants to buy. He just wants to park money somewhere, and he wants to buy a condo as a rental. And I told him about
Colombian people love.
I told him about the condo, and I was like, no way, dude. And then he calls me later that day. He's like, I got good news. Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? I was like, yeah. He's like, you might want to stand up for this one. So I stood up. He's like, I got the offer. It signed 190, and I was like, wow, man, full circle.
Let's go.
So yeah, and then
Dang.
everything is good, but
Cash?
no,
Oh,
20 down, conventional.
okay. But the
And,
Colombian guy can get a loan. Okay.
Yeah, well, he's Colombian, but he's American.
yeah.
Oh, I
American.
imagine someone living in Colombia.
I sold one of those this past week.
Hey,
I helped him buy a house. Freddie.
Freddie.
Shout out to Freddie.
Freddie Mac.
Let's go.
Man with the money.
But yeah, those are my two. Today I was looking at a couple to maybe buy.
That's what I was going to ask. What do you think is, what do you got the appetite for in terms of if you were to do another flip, if other people listening, for example, what do you think's the money's
Austin
at?
is
Appetite
prime.
for construction would be a great name for a podcast.
appetite for
100%.
construction?
I just needed to say that to be recorded so I remember
All right.
later.
I think the flip market has a lot of horror stories, and some people may taint it as such. But frankly, the market right now, this is market on the rocks after all.
Yeah.
Hey.
Market on the rocks.
We weren't sure if you drank since you're a Gen Zer.
What do you mean, dude?
Yeah, you never know. I mean,
I was at dinner before this,
Not
and
cool
I
anymore.
had.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had-
that's right. I
and
watched all your shit.
I had two Moscow Mules.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, we got Lone Stars. We still have
we should
probably
take
an
a
hour
break.
of recording.
So I think the market is primed for intelligent flippers to come through and make a shitload of money.
Yeah, I mean, the purchase price.
Depending where.
It's a buyer's market, that's for sure.
Yep. And I think the biggest key is where. Like where do you think are good flips right now?
Well, I mean, my clients who have been looking at remodels, I mean, Windsor Park was a great place for them. I mean, anywhere east side to the, sorry, I'm terrible at direction, to the west of 183. I mean, any high-end neighborhoods. I mean, if you could be in Travis Heights or Terrytown or something like that, Old Enfield. Mine and Kyle, no, I don't think I'd do it again. I thought Kyle would be a great move for a flip. I'm like, because I'm going to buy it cheap and I'm going to sell it cheap. No, these people want white boxes. They don't want anything designer and pretty.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm like, certainly I'm going to have a product that stands out on its own. Every single person who's seen it made an offer. You know how many showings I had? 3.
Wow.
That being said, 2 of them were seller financed offers that I'm glad I didn't take.
So is it the price?
Probably. But
Product
I don't-
market fit.
But see, I don't want to reduce it to the price of the white boxes with foundation cracks going through all the walls. I feel like I'm better than that. And that's called the endowment effect. You believe that something you own is worth 25% more than what everyone else would believe it is.
Every seller on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Non-discretionary
I
seller.
mean, Matt is a seller right now. Well, actually, no, you just.
Yeah, we just
Exited.
decided to lease it instead of selling it and purchased that other one that we're doing kind of like a longer flip on. You know, it's like meets our needs for the next 3-5 years, void cap gains, but
But
the
he
one
didn't
that-
want to reduce his price because he believed it was worth more.
well, here was my thing, and not to get into it too much because frankly, it's not super exciting, but I have a 2.25% interest rate on that house.
Dude, keep it.
Right. If I had,
Sell it.
Keep it. Sell it.
It was one of those things where it was like
Let me assume it.
we were already willing to take a haircut on that property because I was so confident that we were picking up and, getting what we wanted on the new one. And just for the record, I didn't tell you this. We got an appraisal waiver on that property. So even like,
Are you putting down like 20%?
no, I'm putting down 5%.
That's
so
insane.
that ultimately just goes to show you that the algorithms that Fannie and Freddie are utilizing as far as comparable sales meet the metric enough to where like a buyer with 5% down, they're like, yeah, it's all good. We know that what you're getting it for is it's going to
You
appraise.
know who's not giving appraisal waivers? The VA.
The VA.
The
No, that's
VA.
very true.
Fuck the VA.
Never happened. But
Fuck the VA.
so for me, it was like I know we're going to do really good on this buy side, which is what I anticipated, and I'm realistic because I'm in the industry. It's like I will take the haircut on the sale side, knowing that I'm picking up good on the buy side, and I just wanted the capital out of the other one to be able to do what we wanted to do in the new one immediately, right? And unfortunately, it was like I can take this haircut on the price, but I can't just like get rid of this house knowing that I am also getting rid of a 2.25% interest rate. So like this thing's rent rolling and bringing in almost $700 a month.
Just keep it.
It's like, fuck it. Right. The downside is like we're buying this house that, you know, I think has a ton of potential. And obviously Fannie and Freddie agree because they're giving me an appraisal waiver on it. But from a, you know, capital standpoint, it's like we're going to get through probably a quarter of our renovation and be like, all right, cool, we're out of money. So I just got to make more money to do it, or, you know, eventually the market will turn and we'll sell because what was it? I went and saw Grant Cardone speak, and I remember he was joking around saying like he has no cash, right? He's just like totally cash poor, and that's I feel that right now. So, this is the fourth property now that we're going to own, so I own 4 homes, and we're doing good equity wise. It's just, you know, I guess I could take out a hard money loan or something like that. Maybe that's what we'll do. I don't know.
The great thing for you is that, one, you're going to be living in the property and
Correct.
You're not trying to turn around fast. The other good thing is you do most of the work yourself.
Yeah, I'm really handy, and I enjoy it. That's the other thing. That's what's fun for me. It's like, you know, you have like a white collar job, and I work with numbers, and I deal with people, and I educate. And
I
all
feel
of
that 100%.
But I do, like, you know, you mentioned painting baseboards and stuff. Like I'm like, I've gotten to the point over like the last decade where I'm doing shit where, like, last Saturday I legitimately watched a 4-hour video on how to I've actually done furnace work before because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but I've never changed out an exterior HVAC unit with a condensing coil. I spent 4 hours just watching that, drinking beers, and like
Yeah.
In addition to, like, now I know how to do it, I already have all the fucking tools to do it. So I'm like, all right, I already have everything to do this. Because this new property that I'm looking at, the AC unit's about 11 years old. So if anything's going to go, it's going to be that, and I'm going to do it.
Mine is 22 years old.
I mean,
my R22 is 22.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Knock on wood. I hope I'm wrong, right? But like anytime I go into a property, I'm pretty much going to anticipate. First of all, the roof's brand new on this place. They had to get it redone. Like, it was impossible to even finance, apparently. So when we saw it, the roof was brand new, but the HVAC unit's old. So I'm just counting on that, right? And then we've already had the foundation looked at. So it's like, all right, fuck it. The HVAC unit's going to go. And on my 4 homes, this one actually is the only one that we haven't changed an HVAC unit yet. So one of them's going to fucking go for sure.
This way.
Because there's 2 of them here. There's 2 of them here and then 1 there. So, yeah, but dude, I mean, even with the home warranty, you're going to pay money, and
I know. It doesn't work for you. I believe in my home warranty.
Yeah,
After getting my 22-year-old hot water heater swapped to the brand new $4,800 one for free.
I priced out a brand new 4-ton HVAC unit with condensing coil and everything, brand fucking new, and it was only $3,700. You know what it would cost, even if you got like a screaming deal, as you like to say?
My screaming deals for 8 HVACs are $6,000.
Yeah, but this is a 4-ton. I mean, this is a bigger
4-ton
unit.
would be like 10.
I know
like
if you
10,
called
12.
if you
10,
called
12 grand.
Reliant Heating and Air,
Oh, they'll charge you
Oh,
20.
dude, 15, 20.
Oh, 25.
You're cooked, you know?
those companies are blood-sucking parasites.
And the thing is, consumers don't know.
And that's the issue. I tell all of my clients, I'm like,
don't
before
know.
you do anything, call me. Oh, I got a blood-sucking parasite story. So my next door neighbor, Cindy, shout out Cindy. She'll probably watch this because she's a homie. She's an old lady. I say old. She's the same age as my mom. She's like 65. But she lives alone. She wants to remodel her bathroom, and it's not even big remodel. It's quite literally rip out the acrylic shower and put in a new acrylic
Yeah, new shower pan, yeah.
So just the whole, thing. You buy it. You can probably buy this shit at Home Depot and have it installed.
Yeah.
She had 2 different companies come quote her last week because she's like, "What do you?"
Bath fitter.
She's like, "What do you think this should cost?" And I was like, "The shower alone, like maximum $2,000. If you're also doing like the vanity and the floor and some other things, maximum $5,000. Like anybody over, anything under that is reasonable. Anything over, call me." She got 2 quotes last week. One of them was $49,000.
No.
One of them was $79,000. I was like, these people. I told her, I said straight up, I was like, "Cindy, they saw that you were an older woman, and they just did like the oil replacement people do. They're like, oh, we're just going to take you for a ride right now."
I don't know, man. I think that a portion of it is the fact that nobody knows how to fucking do anything anymore. And I think these contractors know that. And they're getting so many opportunities to quote jobs. And it's like, hey, if we're gonna quote 25 jobs this week, why don't we just get nutty? And all
And
we got to
hit
do is
one.
land one.
And you're good.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
I grew up very handy, so I do all my own stuff too. And
There you go.
is burning in hell worth?
I'm with you, dude. I mean, I got to sleep at night. I feel that way with, the loan stuff. You know how I am with the like new build stuff even. I mean, there's a lot of that. When we were listing this property, and I would like to ask both of you because I've been meaning to ask you this, but we can do it right here. So on the second, so I had 2 deals that fell through. One was like a cold feet thing, kind of like your similar situation. The other one, we were $5,000 apart. And I ultimately said, hey, let's just, let's see what, I wanted to kind of see what they were going to say. And it was a $500,000 list price. And I said, hey, just go after the buy side commission. I said, hey, we'll give your buyer everything they want. You're not going to make 15, you're going to make 10. They walked. Now, I personally don't think there's any chance in fucking hell, especially in this market, that buyer was like, no, I don't want you to get paid. I want you to get paid $15,000. I honestly don't think the buy side agent presented the offer. I really don't. Mm-hmm. But what I was interested in thinking is, what if I would have said, okay, we're going to bump your 3 to 4. Figure it out. Do you think that deal would have gotten done?
Oh, so if you raised her commission.
Raised her commission.
you raise it to 4, and then you tell her you want to maintain your net.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Look,
you can go first.
the agent who's the buyer's agent for my flip is getting 3.5%, and she put it on the offer because I had sent this email like weeks before as a reverse prospecting email, and I said 3.5% commission if you can bring me a buyer in the next weekend. It was probably 3 weeks later she finally came through, but she had seen that email because the proof that they work. She saw that email and she put it on her offer. She's like, hey, I remember you were offering 3.5%. I just went and put it on my offer. I didn't change that because I was like, you know what? This is not a huge difference. It's like, a difference like $1,400?
Right.
I was like, if that gets her to convince her buyer the whole way through to hang on,
Worth it.
then I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Because that's probably going to save me $5,000 later.
It was eye-opening to me, if I'm being totally honest, because I wholeheartedly think that, if I could jump in a time machine and go back and say, hey, we're $5,000 apart, like, I'll pay you another 1% if you can make this happen, I think she would have gotten it done.
I think
At the buyer's
But then she would
expense.
say, why are we $5,000 apart?
She would have raised the purchase price. That's all she would have done. She would have raised the purchase price and forced the buyer to finance the difference versus... Because she would have said, oh, what's not coming out of your pocket? This extra $5,000 that they're asking for, it's only going to make, what's that going to make? A $20 difference in your monthly payment?
Yep.
But
it's no big deal. But she didn't push it because we went into her pocket. We said, hey, we're going to give your buyer everything she's asking for, but you have to take a $5,000 haircut. Where I think if I would have went and said, I'm going to give you an extra $5,000 to convince your buyer to increase the purchase price and finance the $5,000 that we're in the Delta, I think she would have done it. And that's kind of fucked up when you think about it.
It's the way they're human beings, man. And whether it's fucked or not, they have to put food on the table. And it could have been as righteous as, hey, they presented it and they had a 3% agreement with their buyer, and their buyer can't come up with that one. Maybe the buyer wasn't extremely in love with the house, and they're like, we're going to look at another house then.
Well, and that's exactly what
that could have been
And that's exactly
version.
what I told Ina. I said at the end of the day, like the fact that they just said they weren't in love with the property. We still had to get through inspection and everything like that. I'm like, either way, we dodged a bullet. But me just being the mental masturbator that I am, I was like, I think if I could go back, I would have done it that way, and I bet you she would have made it happen.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's $500,000, 3% is 15.
Yeah.
If you had no other closing, if you can just remove all the other fees and expenses, and your net was just that minus commish, that's $485.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's give her a $20,000 paycheck, but let's make that purchase price $505.
Exactly.
And at $505, her $20K paycheck leaves you with the same net.
Correct.
And her buyers, as long as it appraises, no problem with any of that. It'll finance the financing cost that you're throwing it on them is like $20 a month, which ain't really. We call that one the reduction to the ridiculous.
See, as that agent, I would have happily accepted that and then turned around and told my buyer, hey, congratulations, you're going to get another $5,000 in credit. And then it would be exactly what they wanted to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where kind of how you finished it was the fact that they were so quick to be like, yeah, I just felt like they're not really that into it. And in this market, the inspection's such a fucking nightmare. You know, if they would have like offered us the offer with $5,000 and been like, hey, we're because we did a pre-inspection and they were like, yeah, we're just going to take the pre-inspection. It's all good. I would have never, ever done it the way that I did it. But when they were like, yeah, we're going to get our own inspection after your pre-inspection, I was like, I know where the fuck this is going.
Yeah, because they're trying to ask for money.
Of course.
Yeah, the pre-inspection, I always like to do that on listings just to remove the silver bullets before, especially if there's a lot of, and even with a flipper, like I've had some flippers, I hope they're not watching, some of them are a little sloppier than others, and they'll try to cut corners or save money and be a little cheaper than others, which is fine, but I'll tell them, like, this is not the market that you're going to get away with that.
Right.
And I'll get a pre-inspection because it's a lot better if that, hey, you need to fix this laundry list of shit. If it's coming from a licensed inspector, instead of coming from me, it gets taken a lot more, has more gravity to it. And I can kind of tell them, like, look, I need you to fix this, and the other. And if I have an inspection report, I'm like, hey, it's the best $400 you'll spend. Because it'll tell them, I'm like, hey, any buyer that's going to come through here is going to get an inspection. They're going to say that they need $500 to recaulk a couple of things around the house. They need a $10,000 air handler swap, or some bullshit. And it's
for a lot of agents, it's their MO right now. Yeah, like they're telling their buyer. I've seen it.
Hey, like we're gonna know it's only gonna be $5,000 of cost, but we're gonna ask for a concession or a price reduction of like 20 while we're in the option period. And if they don't want, we'll fucking walk.
Yeah, I know agents that are like, if I can just get them to write their first offer, just signing that first one, I mean, it'll just move forward.
But I'm like, fuck, man.
I was selling this house in Cedar Creek. It was a huge house on a couple acres, and it had 2 air conditioners. And the agent that had the inspection, she said, hey, look, both of the air conditioners are really old. One's not functioning well. We're putting it in our amendment that we want $50,000. And I was like, $50,000? I was like, well, first, like, you can't even get that since you're getting a conventional loan. Like, we can't even give you $50,000 if you wanted it. Two air conditioners don't cost $50,000. She's like, literally, she said, okay, well, let's just take $50,000 off the offer price. And I was like, well, then your clients have 2 broken air conditioners. What do you want, the money or the air conditioners?
We just want a deal.
We want a fair value. It's fun.
This is one of my learning lessons that I'll hopefully remember forever. So she said, and this is always tough for me to remember how it went, but one was not functioning correctly, but it was like a couple years newer. One was older, but it was functioning perfectly fine. But it was also like 20 years old. She said, okay, we want this serial number 1 to be replaced, and we want this serial number 1 just to be tuned up and fixed. In my brain, I thought, okay. I thought I checked. I really did. Apparently I did not, because the AC guy said, okay, well, the older one is the one you want replaced, and the broken one is the one that you wanted fixed, right?
That's crazy.
And then this agent, like, as soon as I was like, hey, we did it, because my seller's like, I'll pay for one AC. I got a cheap guy to do it. Like, she didn't specify brand. I got one for $6,000. It was a great deal on an AC. This agent shows up, like, right after I said I got it fixed. Like, my seller's still living in this house. She went and inspected herself, and she's like, she literally called me, and I was like, haha, got you. You replaced the wrong one. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And also, why are you in this mood? And yeah, I looked at the serial numbers again. I was like, fuck, she did this on purpose.
You didn't check the refrigerator box, bro.
Yeah. It ended up, with me paying for another AC out of pocket, and her buyer got 2 ACs out of us.
That's a good a solid buyer's agent right there.
No, this lady's a stupid bitch.
She got it for her client, bro.
I don't even remember her name because she has yet to sell another fucking house.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck.
Dude,
It was
that's
real
the
estate
worst.
guy.
She's the one that does one deal every 5 years, and I'm surprised she keeps her
The
license.
real estate gods are paying her no love then, bro.
That
There it
happens.
is.
Yeah.
Some people operate out of that. I understand that organic, like just naturally, you're negotiating against the other side's interests as much as you want to win-win. What's good for a buyer is almost inherently not ideal for the seller. I mean, I think that's natural, but having it be something like that where you got to try to deceive or fuck with somebody and not just be straight up, that's where it's just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, something I've learned over time is like read every contract front, upside down, and then read it again. Because if there's some little thing, and so I have another story. This is also first year in business. Like naturally you start neglecting shit. It's 2021. I was doing great in my first full year in business. 2021 was awesome. Now I probably neglected a lot of things that I probably should have, but this woman sends an offer on one of my listings, and we had 3 offers on it. In the first weekend we put on the market, her offer was better by like $2,000, and I suggested it to my seller. And also I was out of town. I was like boarding a flight when I sent this to my seller to sign it. It was signed by the time the flight landed. I sent it back. We're under contract. Anyway, she has her inspection, and then they wanted some repairs on the roof. I was like, somehow we agreed on giving her credit because my old lady seller didn't want to, mess with any contractors or anything. And this lady was like, oh, is that in addition to this agent said, is this in addition to the $6,000 credit? And I was like, what? And she's like, the $6,000 credit. I said, what are you talking about? She said, in line 12AB, the seller credit. And I said, look, you sent me an email that said, here is a clean, no bullshit offer for $321,000, whatever the hell it was. And in her email is like, it was like no strings attached, like trying to make it sound as clean as possible. She wrote out all her other offer terms: earnest money here,
this a lot.
option money here.
You got to read it, bro. Devil's in the
she
details.
did not put that credit. And I was like, look, Sarah, Sayra. I was like, look, you can, we're going to have to pay it since we're under contract unless we cancel over this. But like, you gotta mention this somewhere, because I read this on my phone and sent it to my seller, and I did not catch it. I would have chosen a different offer. And
I've seen it happen the other way around with you guys too. This is one of my pet peeves, man. I'm not a real estate agent, so maybe it's easier to say this, but I've seen the
5 years later, I read my contracts, by the way.
I've seen the other way, where the agent writes the contract from the buy side, sends it over. They write all the terms and conditions in the body of the email, and then it's in the contract, and they write that there's concessions that they're requesting, but they don't write it in the contract. The offer gets accepted, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we requested $6,000 in seller concessions, and they're like, where? It's not in the contract. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's in the body of the email, and they're like, it's not on the contract.
Oh, that's a much easier one.
It's harder too when they're going back and forth, and it's not just like, hey, offer in your inbox, it's
I just don't know why you're writing the terms.
When they want to
and forth,
negotiate over the phone before it's on paper, and then they hit you with a wait, but you said. I'm like, well, but I said.
I just don't know why
like
you guys
what I
are
said.
writing it in the body of the email. That's the thing I just can't wrap my fucking head around.
Or when they say like, hey, I made all the changes we spoke about. It's in your inbox. But they edit things they didn't talk about.
Right.
Or and even with that frat house deal, like there were so many red line attorneys at least have some. I don't know if it's illegal, but it's very frowned upon. If you make any edits, you red line it.
Right.
So it's very visible at a quick, because these are very verbose documents. At a quick glance, you can see, oh, this was crossed off and replaced with the other. Instead of like, if you do a whole new DocuSign or a whole new SkySlope, you have no fucking clue what, like the numbers it can look like a clean contract with everything
I always
changed.
put a line, change it, have people initial.
Okay, but how many changes can you do before it looks like a Frankenstein of a contract and you're like, fuck this, I'm going to start a fresh one?
Yeah.
You know? So
After a counter offer, then you start another one. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think those right now, what I'm seeing is since it's market on the rocks for presently, all the buyers are maxing out. A lot of them are maxing out that seller's concession. And a lot of the I rep buyers and they want me to do that and I do it and the sellers take it. And it's like, is that me being abusive as a buyer's agent, or am I repping my buyer at the highest possible level because I'm getting them the best deal?
I think it's fine. They need the money right now.
I think the only thing you need to be mindful of is what I worry about with the new builds, and it's that if your buyers are maxing out seller concessions with zero intention of being able to because at the end of the day, let's face it, it's being baked into the purchase. Mm-hmm. So when you go to resell that house, as right now we're only seeing like 2% year-over-year appreciation. So if you max out the seller concessions on a property, it's going to take 3 years for them to recoup those seller concessions. We're seeing this in new builds. I mean, Chase and I talk about this all the time. If you sold somebody a new build in 2022, good luck with them trying to get out from underneath that after paying you a commission.
Or rent it out even.
But you're saying like, okay, instead of getting that seller concession, take that entirely off.
Well, so here's what I'm getting at. So like I think real estate agents...
It won't because it'll fuck up the appraisal for all the others.
The what?
I said the builder won't do that because it's going to fuck up the appraisal for all the others.
You can't do it on a build. You
can push them quite a bit though.
Yeah,
I'll say
it's
even
true.
Some realtors will... They'll walk in the model and the person will say like, oh, it's a 4.99 rate and the price is $349 and you get 10K flex cash. It's like, dude, you can write them a 330 with 15 the same 15 and pay yourself 5. And I mean, what are they going to say? Fuck no. Like
they do have issues if you want just the purchase. If you find a cash buyer and they'd say, hey, just take off the $30,000 that you want to give me as flex cash, and I want to go ahead and just drop the price, they're going to have a problem with that. It's going to fuck their comps up.
Yep.
And that's why with the new build game, it's kind of gets grimy, because going back to what I just said, it's almost like they're like, you need to take these incentives or we're not going to sell you the fucking house. And then the problem that we run into is that if we're not doing our job, and it's not even really the real estate agent as much as it is the lender. I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand, but if you're not explaining to these buyers, look, like I know right now, if we don't take this conversation any further, it sounds amazing that you're getting 6% seller concessions. You're going to buy the interest rate down from what arguably today is, like you said, 3.875 on something. I mean, I know it's doable. But the problem is that it's like, what's your long-term goal? Because if your long-term goal is to not be in this house in under 10 years, you're buried. Yeah, you're fucking buried. And it all came from the idea that, yeah, you got a 3.875, but like now you either have, I just got off the phone with the client. Now you either have to rent this house, and this guy's like, I don't have the fucking appetite to be a landlord, or you have to sell at a loss. Those are your options. And he's like, I wish somebody would have explained it to me this way. I wouldn't have done it this way. Right? And he's like, and at the time I'm beating my chest. It reminds me of buying a brand new car with 0% APR. You know how you get a 0% APR on an auto loan? They take the manufacturer incentive and they just do the math on a 5-year note on a car loan, right? It is identical. All they do is just pay the bank and say, here's all your interest right up front.
Just present value of the cash
And people
flow.
beat their chest like, I got a 0% on my auto loan. You did it just last year.
I was like, are you going to...
And I'm like,
are you gonna say it or
You're going to
am I?
fucking expose them.
I'm like, dude, you
I
know
love
that
Tesla loan.
I'm like, all you did was just front load all your interest up front. And I'm not saying you got screwed. It's just you're paying now or you're paying later, right? And all you did was finance. You could have taken the manufacturer whatever and paid, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, whatever it was, less for the car, taking a 6% interest rate. And if you paid the note off earlier, you won. And if you paid it off at the normal amount of time, but again, people just go 0 or 30,000 flex cash, and it's like we have to have these conversations because, I mean, it's kind of what our job is. So,
I think we're about out of time.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. We're about to get clipped here in about 7 minutes. So, if there's anything you want to say, because I only had
anything you need a social media clip of you saying.
I don't know. I kind of just, I feel like I have a lot of little small clips. What do you guys do with this? Like, I just seen the clips. I don't even know.
Yeah, so here's the
What
thing.
fuck
I
is-
normally do this preamble of like what this is all
I have
about,
no-
but
I have
Chase
no
just
idea what was going
just
on
hit the
today.
ground
Like,
running.
actually just throw it on OnlyFans.
Right.
I'm like,
So,
fuck.
so this podcast was designed because what I identified was when I was doing one-to-ones with real estate agents, and I was trying to have, basically at the end of the day, I would love to do business with you, right? I mean, it's no secret. I'm sure you have a preferred lender. If he or she is amazing, great. If not, I would love to, show you what we do. Anyway, I was having conversations with agents when I was meeting with them one-to-one, and I was like, this could generate a lot of good content. And a lot of the agents that I was meeting with, one of their biggest asks was, I need to be better with social
I
media.
need more This is yeah.
So then what we ended up doing was organically recording this content, which is a lot different than just staring into a camera and being like, hey, here's what I do, and da-da-da.
Double angle.
Right. And, so everything's
Fuck
done
yeah.
double angle. We're asking people what it is that they do, and we were generating really good content for agents, which was my value add, other than being like, hey, I've been doing this for this long, and let me tell you about my programs and products. That puts agents to sleep. The realtors don't want to hear that shit. So it's like, what can you do for me? It's like, we generated content. You've got almost $10,000 worth of equipment in here.
Shit.
And we'll put together clips for you. We'll send everything out. It's all going to be edited really nicely. And for the record, if anyone else out there wants to do something like this, I mean, there's times when he and I are just sitting in the kitchen at lunch. We're like, dude, we should just run in here real quick.
I was gonna say, I'm
have
gonna
this
ask you.
conversation.
I'm gonna ask you a lender rapid fire that I'm gonna trim up so I can put in my.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. What are the top 3 mistakes that you see buyers making most often right now?
Number one, hands down, is if you are getting gift funds from your parents, please do not have your parents give you those gift funds directly. It creates a lot of extra paperwork. I need to at times see your parents' bank statements, things like that. And trust me, your boomer dad is going to be like, this is bullshit. Why do I need to show my bank statements? It is best practices if we can just have them forward the money directly to the title company. If they do end up giving you the money, it's not the end of the world, but there's just some extra things.
Okay.
Number 2, biggest mistake that I see people make, here's one that just comes off the top of my head. Like, don't finance anything. If you have a credit card already, it's okay to use. I do have super conservative people that will call me and be like, hey, I really quick wanted to go to the grocery store. Can I use my Discover card? Yes, of course, if you already have it. But don't finance new furniture. Don't do anything like that. Surprisingly, it's the people that can totally afford that hit that do it. And then when I call them, I'm like, hey, we're 2 days before closing, and I noticed that you have an Our House account that you just opened up. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I need all of the paperwork for it now, and we're not going to close on time. They're like, I could pay for this right now. Do you know who I am? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It doesn't matter, though. And so we delay closing. So just, even if you are going to finance something, just give me a heads up. I'll walk you through what it takes. No big deal. And then I think the only other mistake other than that is I don't think buyers, either agents aren't explaining it or buyers aren't, they aren't feeling the reality of what an option period is. I can't get over how many times people want to just manipulate numbers on a property that they haven't even written an offer on. We'll spend fucking hours on putting together this perfectly financed deal, and they'll submit the offer and the sellers will be like, no. Yeah. Right? So it's utilize your option period. If you can't afford to lose a couple $100 in the event that you write an offer and then the sellers actually accept it and you decide not to buy, maybe you shouldn't be buying a home. And,
Agreed.
And for the record, as a buyer, if you're not making a full asking price, there's a strong possibility you're not going to get it anyway. So put up a couple $100. I mean, I went to Trulux on Saturday. We got appetizers and 2 rounds of drinks. It was over $200. So
did you get lobster macaroni though?
No, I was told about that, and it was too many carbs. Too many carbs.
No, I agree. If you can't,
Y'all
if you don't
eat
want to,
macaroni every week.
if you can't play the buy-in, then get the fuck off the table.
Right,
I think at a
exactly.
certain
So those would
point-
be my 3 rapid fires on the lending side of things.
How much more time do we have? Is that it?
Yeah, we good at 2:45. So yeah, you've got about 5 minutes.
What are your thoughts on a temporary rate buy down
I
in
think
2026?
I personally have never liked temporary rate buy downs, even from the beginning. There's nothing new or proprietary about them. We had them 20 years ago. Permanent rate buy downs just make way more sense. The temporary rate buy downs, you're gambling on a refinance opportunity, and none of us have a crystal ball. And so unless you've got some sort. I just hate them. I mean, I've had instances where people are like, "Hey, I'm just starting a business type of deal," or like, "I'm going to get a raise and this and that." The mistake I see people make is that everybody gets into a routine, and then yes, we have to qualify you off of the higher portion of it.
Correct.
So like I can argue that you can make the higher portion, but life happens, and when you're making this $3,000 payment that's going to go to $3,500, you'll go buy the car, you'll go buy the toy, and now the $3,500 payment hits with the $700 car payment, and it hurts. So I personally would prefer to see people utilize it towards a permanent rate buy down, save your money over the life of the loan, and if a refinance opportunity presents itself, it's like a painful win where you're like, shit, all right, we're gonna save money, but the temporary would have made more sense. I don't know. I'm not a huge gambler, right? So that's my answer.
Date the rate.
Date the rate.
Marry the house, date the rate. Longest fucking date ever.
The date had kids.
I mean, when did that come out? 2022?
Yeah.
It's about to be 2027. I mean, we're on route right now for that being a 5-year date. That one, I kind of saw that one coming, if I'm being honest.
Yep. What else would be good? Good little flicks.
What's the biggest mistake that, Matt, you see agents make on social media?
The biggest mistake I see them make?
Because you watch a lot of
I know.
social media.
Did you ever see them make videos about something lending related?
Yeah, you're
really
not.
Fuck it up?
Well, it's not only that. I mean,
or quoting rates on their Instagram stories.
There are definitely some agents out there that if I was an asshole, I could definitely report. You should not be quoting interest rates if you do not have an MLS license or like a loan officer's license. And even when you're supposed to be quoting APR and all this other stuff. It's like, it's crazy what I see some agents doing. But the mistake that I've been seeing in the last 3 years is like the omission of facts is not a lie. And so here's a great example. Over the last like 2.5 weeks, interest rates have been slowly creeping up.
Yep.
And then we saw a little bit of a rebound pretty much from Friday until today. And I have seen more fucking agents post in the last 3 days that interest rates are the lowest that they've been in the last 2 weeks. Which is true. But the problem is that interest rates are the highest that they've basically been almost all year.
Time to get off the fence.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just
time to take the step into home ownership.
Yeah.
Where you won't be under contract for 3 months.
I'm here to tell you that like
dude.
interest rates is not the problem. I remember locking people in at interest rates in the 2s. I even locked a guy in a 15-year term at a 1.99%. And he literally said, I saw something online that said I could get a 1.75.
What the fuck?
It doesn't matter what rates are. It is not. And here's the other interesting thing. When did we do more business? In 2020 or 2021? It was in 2021. And you know why? I could tell you exactly why. Interest rates plummeted into the 2s, and everybody went, okay, well, let's see what happens. The moment rates went from 2s to 3.5%, people find the consumer is reactive. They are not proactive. And when it comes to real estate, there's a part of me that thinks the Fed actually might raise interest rates come next Fed meeting. And if they do, I actually think it might be a little bit of a bump for our business because people will go, fuck, they're raising rates.
Hot take.
I don't know. I feel like my buyers are done even questioning what rates are. If they want the house, they want the house.
No, they question me. Trust me.
What I've learned is nobody wants to give birth in a rental.
True.
I think I've heard you say that.
I love that.
It's true.
Okay.
Don't be a Jerry Springer parent.
Eduardo, for you, what do you think is the best thing that you've done on social media? Because you got more followers than both of us combined. And then what do you think is the worst thing that agents are doing on social media?
I'll answer that backwards. The worst is the typical home tour video. Honestly, I'm tired of seeing those. It's like a 4 or 5 second intro where they just say, hey, we're in Hutto. This is a 4-bedroom house. Let's check it out. And then some song.
It's not going to last long.
Some song comes on, and then it's just like video of, following them like from the back. It's just like some fucking dude's ass as you're walking through the house. Yep. And then shoot me a message for more details at the end. I'm like, if I was a consumer, I would definitely not want to watch that. I also think too many agents keep it too professional where it's just listed, just sold, and like you can do that and still be like tell a story in the caption. Right. Or like I think you put like edits where you put like actual text on the photos and you're like, so my client did this, or
and
like,
then I'm coming out of a wood chopper or something.
Yeah, like but like the best thing I've done is make it not real estate related all the time. Like people aren't consistently wanting to consume that all day. So I do food review videos.
I just watched your Chiba Hut one.
Yeah, dude. And I get Chiba Hut paid for that. They send me a $50 credit. I get free
rad.
food all the time.
They're correctly rated, in my opinion.
I love going.
I haven't been there yet.
I
They're
love
good.
getting those food reviews in. Honestly, I do all kinds of stuff. I've done like real estate wraps. I've done a fucking photo shoot. I do creative listing videos where I'll do like a whole skit in the house. I have a YouTube channel, which we didn't even talk about today, but that's how I get most of my net new business
We'll
from
have to do another
strangers.
round.
Yeah, I mean the studio's open to you, man. Anybody that
From all over the
real
country.
estate wise, so
Yeah, if you ever want to do one with one of your teammates or something, just
I'll bring
y'all.
Juan.
I don't even have to be here.
yeah, I was gonna say you don't have to deal with us. You can do one yourself. We have people that come in and that utilize this place. I mean, it's
That's how we knew the ATX drinker and Rachel lately so well.
yeah.
Wow.
They used to run their podcast
I
out
have a
of here.
client right now from Portugal from the YouTube channel.
Really?
Hey,
You know what? We're gonna do if she uses a loan because she's between paying cash. If
Yep.
she uses a loan, we'll do it together.
Yeah, well, and bring her in here.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
it'd be good to
Yeah.
you know.
Shannon, if you're watching,
Shout out to Shannon.
does she speak English?
English and
You,
Portuguese.
you speak Portuguese, don't you?
Well,
Did I make
Spanish
that
is
up?
close enough. I speak a little bit of Portuguese. I spent some time in Brazil,
Okay. Oh yeah.
and I speak Mandarin Chinese actually.
Wow.
Oh,
little
nicht live
bit.
tan 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 tuduma.
Are you like fully?
Yeah, I'm fluent.
Dude, I speak like
I know 4 sentences.
like, I didn't
no,
know
I
that.
know quite a bit, but I know quite a bit. My vocabulary is really strong, but I need the person talking to me
No.
talk like slow and no accent, and I can get it.
No, I know a fun little handful of like phrases. Japanese, I know a little more than a handful of phrases.
Chinese, I know a lot of phrases. I know a lot of words. Just like I don't know, say something to me slow.
All your swear words.
Well, so
I'm like Taekwondo, too fast.
My full sentence was Nishilai tan san sa suduma.
I know Nishilai, you're in.
So it meant, are you here for the seminar?
Okay, yeah, Nishilai, like are you here? You are. Yeah, I get the gist of it. But
Well,
like
achal putao pi.
putao is a grape. No.
Yeah, it means I like to eat grape skin.
Yeah. See, there you go. Hey, there
I'm
you
pretty
go.
sure we're over time by now.
Okay.
no, you're still up. We haven't died yet, but we're
Okay.
good.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
It was
man.
a
Thank you
pleasure.
guys
Yeah,
for
it was a
having.
good one. It was a good
Thank you
one.
guys for having me
Shake
on.
hands.
Yoshi Ren, Shini Shing Shong.
Appreciate you, brother.
非常高兴认识。